All right, everybody, welcome on into a brand new week of DCU Daily on Oh So Curious. Of course, we have got a lot to talk about. It's a Monday show. I mean, depending on where you are when you're watching, if you're watching us live, if you're watching us after we're live, you might be catching us on a Tuesday morning or maybe a late Monday night. Friday night would be weird, unless you're catching up a few days behind. But anyway, I digress. It is a brand new week. It's a Monday night show. We're going to talk about the Halloween weekend Massacre that was at the box office. That's right. We'll get into that. Of course, we have to also talk about all the news from the world of DC. James Gunn, what he's been up to, talking about Brainiac, giving us more insights into how Superman was made. Crypto, of course. We're going to rank a bunch of celebrity Halloween costumes. We're just gonna swipe through them real quick because there was a lot of celebrities dressed up as DC and other comic book characters, including some Marvel ones. The Russo brothers gave us a nice tease of maybe what to expect from Avengers Doomsday. A little cryptic. We'll talk about it. Of course, we've got that news about Rambo, the prequel to Rambo, that is, and a bunch of more, believe it or not, more Expendable movies potentially landing at Lionsgate. Not potentially, they have landed at Lionsgate. So we will talk about that. Of course, the passing of Diane Ladd and so much more beyond that. So with that, guys, let's hit the news intro and we'll get the show started.
Doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. And you're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see corns.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the world needs now.
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right. You know what? I didn't even mention the fact that there's a new Godzilla -1 sequel, and it's got a title. So we'll talk about that too. It is Papa Dan. I am here. Have no fear, Tony. I'll carry you through. Brainiac, yes, Super 18. We'll talk about that. Of course, we've got Caleb in the chat. Can someone take Zack Snyder's phone away? We will talk about that. I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, James Gunn too. I'm sure that his wife would appreciate that. Enterprising, we hope you are doing well. He's saying you're not alone if you're not. Wishing good fortune your way. Well, thank you, Enterprising, and to everybody in the live chat. Thanks for joining in. We will get into all of the days, the weekend's news. Even we're gonna go all the way back to Friday and look back at the Halloween costumes that were and twas the Halloween Massacre that was at the box office. Speaking of which, John, how was your weekend? I heard that you might have gone to see a movie today. How was your day?
I did. Not a new release, a re-release. I went to go see Back to the Future for the 40th anniversary, and my thing is a little off, but we'll work with it. It's okay. But yes, I went to go see Back to the Future. God damn, fuck, that movie's so perfect, so perfect. Like, they don't make them like they used to, bro. Everyone's talking about, oh yeah, we have great shit. We do, but like it's not Back to the Future though. Like, come on now. Like, it's crazy talk. But outside of that, doing okay. I'm gonna be seeing Predator Badlands in a couple days. We'll have that review for you after I watch that. And I'm gonna be seeing The Running Man at some point this week. Hopefully Friday, maybe Saturday. I don't know. We'll see, but that we'll have that review soon as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun week. I mean, The Running Man is probably the one movie that I'm most excited about the rest of this year because the trailers look perfect. Glenn Powell, I mean, he's already a star, but this could really potentially be a movie that further elevates him as somebody who can carry a franchise by himself. So, yeah, I can't wait to see all of those movies. We're going to talk about Stephen King movies, actually. And yeah, I know my video might be a little choppy, so you guys let me know if that's still happening. If it is, then, I'll try to figure that out. But in the meantime, John, we got a few folks in the chat. We said hello to, I think, most of them so far.
Yeah,
yes,
and the ones we
Caleb.
didn't, we like you anyway. It's cool.
It's all good.
I
Okay.
didn't see it in IMAX or Dolby or anything. That was an earlier screening, but my parents wanted to see it too, so we can only all agree on a later time, unfortunately. So the long walk, the running man, no, the jogger. Yeah. The jogger would be in between the running, walking. You need the jogger now. Stephen King, make it happen.
I was gonna ask. Isn't the future with like, well, this is not the first movie, but like in the Back to the Future franchise, what is the year in the future where they do get hoverboard, like
2015
hoverboards? What is that year?
That's
Isn't that like already not past?
That was 10 years ago, by the way.
Yeah. I know, right? I'm spilling my soda here. But I was gonna say,
I should have had the cap on.
I was unscrewing the cap and I didn't realize the thing was like, oh, sideways. Damn it. Well, I gotta clean up a mess. Anyway, now we're getting sidetracked. John, okay, we gotta. I was just gonna make the point that if they were to make a reboot to that franchise, they could, like, I don't know, go back to 2015 and because it's one of those things where like they're talking about the Jetsons movie.
Both Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale have said we are never remaking it. We're never making it Back to the Future 4. And if you want it, that's too fucking bad. Shut the fuck up because we're not making it. And honestly, respect with how many fucking franchises that have been dragged through the dirt through a modern lens that don't hold true to the greatness of what the original classics were. Good on them. Good on them. And I think they wrote it in their wills that, like, Back to the Future will never be remade or ever have a sequel. The closest you can get is the Telltale game. Telltale game was pretty good. So if you want a Back to the Future 4, that's as close as you can get. If you can't buy the game, fucking look it up, a YouTube walkthrough of it, because, like, that's what you get. That's all you get. So shut up. Anyway.
I'm trying to clean up the mess here that I've made, because apparently it was more than a few drops that leaked before I realized that it was happening. Anyway, Back to the Future. It's just kind of fun because you think about it, like there's so many movie franchises that look like this retro future, like the Jetsons, for example. Actually, the year the Jetsons take place still is in our future, so that would be something different potentially. But hey, John, what about a legacy sequel? That's a good question. What do you think?
No. No, don't touch it. Like, here's the thing, like, the Back to the Future sequels, they're fun and all, but neither are good as the original anyway. Like, Back to the Future 2 is, like, honestly, mad respect to Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale. They made a nostalgia bait sequel only 4 years after the original movie, so, like, kudos to them. And Back to the Future 3 is very good. It's very underrated, but, like, both are, like, kind of like, comparatively. But, they're both good. They're both fine. Just don't touch it. It was a good trilogy on its own. Leave it be. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Justin Geeky Guy, for the super chat. Got a theory about the villain of Man of Tomorrow. Let me actually bring that in right now. We're going to be talking about that more in detail later on, but you're predicting that Mr. Mistflick, because of season 2 of Peacemaker, it implied a multidimensional threat for Man of Tomorrow. Yeah, that's what you said. Because that would be such a marketing nightmare. But that's a good theory, man. Justin Geeky Guy, thank you for sending that over. We really appreciate the support. Kevin Davis is pointing out the box office opening projections for Wicked for Good, which I think we talked about last week. 130 to 150 million. That's well, the international audience, I think, will be doing better with the sequel than they did with the first movie, because now they've experienced it more. And so even if you aren't familiar with the Broadway play or the book, the fact that it's a sequel to a really popular movie that a lot of people probably saw on streaming by now if they didn't get to see it in the movie theater. Plus, it's got a cultural zeitgeist moments around it with of course Ariana Grande and everything else with the marketing for that movie. So that's a good fan theory, Tony. It's a good fan theory. Zootopia 2 will probably do really well, Kevin. That's also a good point. But these are all, 4-quadrant movies as they would be. But John, let's start off with the news part of the show. Thank you for the candor, everybody. We will definitely continue that candor as we usually do. But a more of a somber note today to start off the week. There was news making headlines across pretty much every outlet today. Diane Ladd, known for her works like Wild at Heart, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, Laura Dern's mother, if you're too young to remember her work, which I'll admit, I did not see a lot of her movies, but I do recognize some of the titles here. I have seen Wild at Heart. And yeah, I mean, she was not only an icon of her time, a multi-nominated Oscar performer, but also, of course, the mother to Laura Dern, and she passed away at 89. John, how do you remember Diane Ladd, the impact that she made, and the legacy she leaves behind with us?
I know the name. I probably watched some of her movies. I am very much familiar with it, but it's more like the surrounding bigness of the name. It's like, even though if you've never seen her, you know of her and you are aware of her work and what she has done for the film industry and all that. So I'm sure it would be, I'm sure I've watched something. Like, I'm sure, like, I just can't think of anything right now specifically, but she will 100% be missed, and whatever impact she made will be remembered for generations to come.
Yeah. Again, she wasn't, somebody who was necessarily a household name, but again, an actress who left an impact, made an impact, and leaves behind a portfolio of work that I think a lot of people will hopefully, even if it is posthumously, come to recognize. And again, one of those celebrated careers in Hollywood. Yeah, Bruce, Diana, and Laura. Yeah, exactly. So Tony's saying National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. She was Nora Griswold, Chinatown. A lot, again, like, if you didn't know of like who she was, you still remember, like, her from her many performances, because she was in many and iconic movies, including the ones that she was nominated for Oscars multiple times. So with that said, we wish the very best to Laura Dern's family, Diane Ladd's family and friends in their mourning, and our best wishes are with them. Again, another legend of the big screen passes away at the age of 89. Hopefully she lived a good life. I don't know if we know the cause of that, but I do believe Laura Dern had a statement posted that she passed away by her family's side. So with that, guys, of course, as always, let us know in the comments down below what you think about Diane Ladd and her work, and how do you choose to remember her legacy, her career. So now we move on to talking about John. It's what was it recently? I believe it was Halloween recently, right? So
yes.
And as the tradition is on Halloween, celebrities and everybody, normal people and celebrities alike, like to dress up and go about showcasing their best costumes picked out just for that one day of the year. I didn't have a chance to rock my Maverick stuff, but maybe I will bring that on the show this year. We're busy taking care of Zelda and stuff, but we'll actually give you an update on that later in the show. But that doesn't mean that a lot of other people didn't get a chance to do that, John. I know that we were kind of talking about this even over the weekend and last week, but hey, let's dive into some of the costumes, because we'll start off with Haley Steinfeld, who dressed up as her.
Bullshit. No. We gotta talk about this. Get that fucking bullshit out of here. We stand Thanksgiving in this household, and Christmas can fuck off until December 1st. So let's just get that perfectly clear. Thanksgiving is superior to Christmas. Christmas can go chuck rocks, and that will be celebrated on December 1st during that season. Okay? So October 1st to 31st is spooky time. All right? November 1st to whatever day that November is, whatever date November is. This time, I
believe it's the 27th of this year.
This year it's the 27th. It's from then is Thanksgiving time, and then after that is Christmas time, okay? Let's just get that perfectly. I'm sick of this Christmas bullshit entering the space of Thanksgiving and then encroaching upon January. No. December 1st to December 25th, that's Christmas time. Everything after that, everything before that is not. fuck off with your Christmas time bullshit. It's Thanksgiving time. It is Thanksgiving time. If you fucking say anything about Christmas, you will be banned. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck Christmas. Anyway, now let's move on to the residuals of Halloween for a sec before we fully move on. And look at this beauty on our screens right here. Perfection.
I was just gonna say all the Canadians are probably like, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but Tony's
yeah, well, the Canadians
birthday's in
like,
2 days.
they even
Oh,
exist
Tony, that's
anymore
awesome,
for
man. That is amazing.
Hell
Alan
yeah.
Tudyk, say hi.
Hell yeah.
Thou shalt not blaspheme. Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, Canadian Thanksgiving happens at a different time of year. That's right.
Yeah, second
I heard
Monday
about
in
that.
October.
But anyway.
So
John.
Yes.
Marveling at Haley Steinfeld as her character from Sinners.
These photos just proving that Josh Allen is one of the luckiest fucking men in the universe and life isn't fair. But if you remember, Sinners, a killer vampire film from earlier this year, directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan, made a huge splash in so many circles to the point it's probably going to be nominated for Oscars. And while the ending scene where it showed Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld still in their vampire forms after everything in what was then present day, and Haley Steinfeld's like, you know what? Let's just rekindle the killer look I had, and there she was, showcasing
John,
Mary in her present day form.
Would you say this is an S-tier costume?
S-tier costume, and you know, if this was the vampire that was biting me, I wouldn't complain.
Sounds like a good. Sounds fair.
I wouldn't complain about that neither. So you know what?
That sounds fair. Cool. I will just say that you made an accurate assessment on that costume. Let's move on to the next one.
Yes, we have so many.
We got a few more to get through.
So we have Sarah Sampaio, who played the real hero of this year's Superman as the Chessmonger. Apparently, she was playing a fairy, not anything specific, just kind of a fairy creature, and looking awesome. Like, this is genuinely like a really, like, outside of the ears, which are like kind of fake looking, but outside that, like, it looks genuinely really good. Like, I'm just impressed by the work that went into the costume. Like, no joke. But
I mean, it feels like she could have, if you add like a Victoria's Secret logo somewhere, this could easily have been like on the catwalk for the Victoria's Secret holiday fashion show that they do every year, whatever that's called.
I mean, there she is. And there she is, flash of the camera.
Wow! You gonna pause on that? There you go.
Hopefully, we don't get demonetized. Thanks, Sarah. Now this is gonna get taken down. God damn it! All right. Fuck, we gotta really.
Hi, Darklead Eric.
God damn it.
Dude, did you pause on that moment on purpose? Because
no, I didn't. I moved past it. Okay, I swear. Jesus Christ!
It froze on that. It froze. It froze on that frame.
Right?
I don't know. I don't know, Fiona. What have you walked into?
God damn it, Elise.
Is she on Wikipedia? I don't know. That's on you. That's on you. Let's keep on going because hey, you know what?
Anyway,
that's
I think that's Zoe. Is that Zoe Kravitz? I don't know. I can't tell. But like,
no, is that Michelle? That's meant to be
Catwoman.
Michelle Pfeiffer's.
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. And there we go. There, very nice. Okay, let's move on.
Speaking of Jimmy's, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen's third leg. That's
yeah.
That's a high bar. Anyway, how do you pronounce her name again? This is Aurelia Carvalho. Is that?
It is the woman who played Moana in Moana 1 and 2. Not in the live action version, like, because fuck her, apparently. Dwayne Johnson gets to come back, but she doesn't get to come back because life isn't fair and possibly sexist. Anyway, so I believe it's Awuli Cavalho, I think that's how you pronounce it. If I'm butchering her name, I very much apologize, but here she is. She's kind of just in a generic Green Lantern costume. I mean, I assume being a brown lady. I assume it's like Jessica Cruz, like correlation, I guess. But
okay, sorry, the comment. No, but this, I mean, it's a great costume. I'm sure if she wants the role, then I'm sure not a lot of casting directors would say no to that. But now I've walked into Jeffrey Epstein territory. Let's keep on moving to the next one.
But looking good.
Dan Guerrero would be perfect, but that I don't even know if we're gonna get Jessica Cruz in live action.
I mean, we're already not gonna get a good Green Lantern show, but I have more to say about that much later. So let's not get into that now. But we have Speedy. I show Speedy as the Black Flash, like Blacker Flash, I guess. But you know, he's
no. I thought that was meant to be like Zoom. Isn't that Zoom?
Well, technically, it's in the comics. It's Black Flash, but like, it's who Zoom became in the Flash. Like, he became Black Flash after the Time Wraiths got him in the stream because he had, you know, laws against time or whatever, so he got taken by the Time Wraiths, and then he like became the Grim Reaper of the Flash, and that's who he dressed up as. But this is a little bit more comic accurate than the one in the show, and looking good. I mean, he got a specialty team of like makeup artists to do it for him, so it was me, Barry. I Show Speed popular.
It was me, Barry. I Show Speed popular.
Yeah, it's you know, looking good. It's a great look. I mean,
I think that's
it's fucking awesome.
I think that's an S tier costume.
The best out of all of them, like straight up. Like if we're like putting like if we put the horny away, then and we're just judging based on costume, this might be like the best out of all of them. I'm just saying, I'm trying not to be gross, but I'm just admiring the craftsmanship here. Like, he clearly got very talented people. When you got money, obviously you can do a lot, but you know, I think this is fucking great. Like, I was in awe. Like, I'm like, is this actually fucking real? And it's like, yeah, no, it was. I mean, there he is in the makeup chair.
No, it's great. It's
it's
a little unfair though, because again, he's basically got a whole team.
He's got a team, you know, he's got makeup artists. Like, if I had the money, I'd fucking do that shit anyway. Like, come on now. But yeah, looking great. They even got the nails. Looking good. Like, I like the chest piece. It like kind of looks. I mean, he kind of went lazy with the leggings because it looks like he's just wearing like yoga pants or something. But like the chest and arms is like, and obviously the cowl is really good. But yeah, this is awesome. And Andy Muschietti is just like CGI it and make it shitty.
John, it was a creative choice.
It was a creative choice. And guess what? Anyway. It's a creative choice that sucked. It's a bullshit move. I elected to ignore it. I'm going to Nick Fury on that.
We got to keep on going here because we got lots more costumes to get into. Come on, let's keep on going.
And here we have Danielle Melchior.
Oh, John, this is for you. This is for you.
Honestly, she would have been a much fucking better Catwoman than Zoe fucking Kravitz. I'll tell you that right now.
I mean, I couldn't tell them apart. I was like, wait, is that Zoe Kravitz dressed as her own character? Before I realized that was Danielle Melchior. So
yeah, but Danielle Melchior, boom, perfect, walking it. I need to see her as Catwoman because honestly, she would fucking blow Zoe Kravitz out of the fucking water. I'm gonna say Zoe Kravitz is probably the worst live-action Catwoman we've ever gotten. But to be fair, the pantheon of great Catwomen we've gotten in the past is saying a lot. But like, you know, I'm just saying, fucking Michelle Pfeiffer, Anne Hathaway, Eartha Kitt, fucking blow her out of the water, fucking easily.
That's also an S tier costume, I would say, because it's basically literally the same thing from the movie.
It's actually in the actual like Catwoman garb rather than the, you know, fucking hooker outfit she's in here. So, you know, but whatever you want. Next up, David Denman and the
That's my favorite one. This is my favorite one.
Cute. I like how his wife dressed up as Weekly. That was great. Yes. I mean, here's the thing.
Nothing is worse than that version of the Catwoman, though, because
say what you will about the movie. The movie is atrocious. Halle Berry tried her best with subpar material. Give her that. Like, she tried her best.
I mean,
like,
Halle Berry can walk in the room and that's basically her. I don't need anything else. Like Halle Berry in the room, that's enough for me. But
God damn it,
anyway.
Yeah, Frank Miller can fucking eat his own shit. There, I fucking said it. Fuck Frank Miller. All right, he can go fucking kick rocks. All right. Also, by the way, this costume is awesome. We got the Captain Triumph from Temu in the back, and then we got Peacemaker. We got the cutest little vigilante ever, and then we got Eagly. This is also baller. I absolutely, although she's kind of looking more like a vulture than an eagle, but like I'll take it.
I mean, John, this movie is nothing if not about family, right? Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, he's dressed as his own character.
You don't turn your back on family.
Frank Miller lost his mind way before All-Star Batman and Robin. Like, come on now. But anyway, this is great to see. Let's move on. Then we have Bryce Dallas Howard as Supergirl. Give me it now. I'll. You know what? Bryce Dallas Howard as Power Girl, even though she's a redhead. Do it anyway.
I'll be honest with you. I couldn't tell if this was AI or not, but this is.
I was
left speechless.
Here's the thing: the one on the right looks definitely AI.
Because that doesn't look like her, right? Like, doesn't even look like her, really.
I looked it up, and here's the thing: I looked it up, and there was only a couple pictures, and it looks real. And the stuff in the background, it's legible. Like, you could tell, like, it says Hollywood, blah blah blah. So I think it's real, but like, it's entirely possible that they just photoshopped like an S, a cape, and like a belt on an already existing picture of Bryce Dallas Howard in a blue dress. If I were to take it, so I don't think this is real. I don't think it's AI though either, but like, it still looks good. And honestly, I should have put Bryce Dallas Howard on our Power Girl ranking because, goddamn,
it's all there. It's all there. I can't argue with that. Whether she actually dresses that or not, yeah. That she would make for a good Power Girl. Actually, we should have had Liz talk about this when she's next on, because Liz actually met Bryce Dallas Howard at the New York Comic Con. So that was nice.
And then here we have so many lovely people in various DC. Now, we've already talked about Danielle Melchior and again, Owali Cavallo. Again, if I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing, but of course, we also had Sabrina Carpenter at her concert, incorrectly stated as Superwoman. By the way, to the point that James Gunn.
Well, no, but you gotta.
I know. But
well, you gotta get to the. Okay.
I know, but these are all the DC costumes. This is the order you gave me, Dan. All right, so
I know. I'm just saying. Oh, she did say that.
Then, I don't know who, and then like Speedy's there, and but I don't know, and then I think that's Demi Lovato, but I don't know who these people are. This looks like a wax figure. I don't know who this is, and I don't know who that is. So
hey, there's Mr. Freeze. That looks like Jamie Foxx, but it's not Jamie Foxx. Who killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. I can't tell who the dude in the bottom left is either.
Greatest technician that's ever lived, but I can't tell who that is. But yeah, looking good with all your DC costumes, everybody. So yeah, that was funny. I saw that. That was good.
Yeah. But, Ghostface who has personal space issues. But anyway.
But we get to the piece of resistance, which is Sabrina Carpenter, the bitch that everybody loves. Well, not a bitch, just the chick that everybody loves.
What? Hey, dude. Okay, now you're causing more controversy on top of all the other internet controversy that already was.
What did I do? What?
You're coloring your just talk about Sabrina. She was you could tell she dressed up as Wonder Woman for one of her shows over the weekend.
And it was specifically the Linda Carter version because Linda Carter had something to say about it. Because
the internet, it stirred up a frenzy because
assholes, because they're like, oh, she's wearing a costume. She's not comic accurate. Wearing a fucking Halloween costume, like fucking really? Like, this poor woman, you just can't leave her alone ever. Like, I have no ill will towards this woman at all. Like, she just is fucking enjoying life. She's singing. People love her. I'll take her over fucking Taylor Swift any day of the fucking week. Like, I'll take that. At least her fucking fans aren't that batshit insane levels. But, you know, she's just living life. She's just doing whatever the fuck she wants. Just leave her alone.
But again, the point, but just to kind of, again, the point of this is Sabrina Carpenter dressed as Wonder Woman. She's, of course, a blonde, or at least that's what she's rocking these days. And the internet went in a frenzy like, oh, Wonder Woman can't be a blonde. Wonder Woman is a brunette. And then since she was dressed up as the Linda Carter version of Wonder Woman, as you can see there with a costume, the real Linda Carter herself stepped in to sort of squash the argument, saying, there's a little argument about Wonder Woman being brunette. A reminder, Wonder Woman is within all of us, and sometimes she has blonde hair. So what? Exactly, you know? And then that is perfectly fine. I don't think there's any rule anywhere that says Wonder Woman has to have brunette hair, honestly. And I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. It's like, imagine if there was a rule against a blonde Bond.
It's not like they're putting it in a movie.
I don't think that was an issue.
Fucking Halloween costume. I dressed up as the 10th Doctor for Halloween, and I was morbidly obese then. Last time I checked, David Tennant is the complete opposite of morbidly obese. So, but guess what? It's almost like everybody and anybody can dress up as anything they fucking want. So leave them be. It's not like she's going to be in the movie as a blonde chick. It's like, calm down. Yes, that was the first thing I thought of, Tony. Not gonna lie, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw this post. But it's exactly, Fiona, piece of resistance. Who fucking gives a shit? If you're this bent out of shape over a costume, I think you need to go out, get some grass, and fucking touch it. So, you know. Oh, that's the scariest costume. Anyway, especially all the people he killed in the CIA. Anyway, so that's it for the Halloween costumes this year, ladies and gents.
Hi, Steven. Yeah, let us know what you guys thought about all those costumes. What was your S tier? What was your A tier? What was your B, C, and D tier? Maybe was there an F tier in there somewhere? We'd love to know. I've still got my Halloween candy. Got lots of it left here. I guess if we were going to do a Halloween candy tier list, then, you know, I have a lot of it here. There's like a actual full-size Hershey's. Oh, there's one. A couple of kids got lucky with those. I have some Milky Ways. I'm not getting through this stuff for like a year, dude. There's like, that's only half. I can fill another bowl with that much candy. Yeah, and I left some at Fiona's as well, so there you go. I actually left a whole Tombstone box full of them.
But whatever, it's fine. It's fine. But anyway.
All right. Well, Steven is jumping ahead, so let's jump ahead ourselves because, hey, while everybody was going out partying on Halloween, dressed in their Halloween costumes, the very best for the hallowest time of the year, it turns out nobody went to the movies, John, because the few people that did, it made for a nice battle for the top spot at the box office. Yes, Tony, indeed, full-size Hershey's. I am the full-size bar house. That's right. The word better get around. I offer.
We offer king size. We buy the king size, but then we never like use them. My dad only gives it out to like a couple of people if they like really like the costume.
You know what it is? Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. I bought 3 packs of 6, and the last I checked, I still let's do the math on that. There's 6 times 3 is 18. I'm pretty sure I still have more than half of them left. So anyway, Halloween candy at my house, everybody. But anyway, let's keep on rolling because, like I said, John, apparently everybody went out partying. And hello, Jalen, how are you doing today? But nobody went to the movies, or the few people that did, they watched a couple of good ones because Regretting You and Black Phone 2 were battling it out for the top spot.
But you know,
well, I'm saying as far as the box office goes, at least the numbers. they were kind of battling for the top spot between Regretting You and the Black Phone 2. The Black Phone 2, it looked like was coming in a little bit behind, but ultimately when the final numbers came out earlier today, Regretting You, which was slightly ahead, came in at second, and the Black Phone 2, a worthy sequel to Ethan Hawke horror, which has become almost a classic in just a few years' time, won out the weekend. Both movies coming in slightly over $8 million. But John, if you do the math there, that's about $16 or so million total between the two of the movies. I think altogether, the entire weekend at the domestic box office collected less than $60 million, which made for the worst year at the Halloween box office in decades. It's pretty shocking to see. I mean, are you surprised that in 31 years, not counting for the COVID year, this is the lowest weekend of the Halloween box office in terms of the domestic box office? Again, we're not talking worldwide, international. We're talking about domestic North American sales here. So, yeah, both movies made around $8 million apiece. I think we actually have the full chart if you want to go to that. We'll talk about that in a second, Decode, but hello and welcome into the live chat. The full chart, if we can dive into that here, we will talk about like what that means, because it's been a while. It's been a long time since we have 31 years. That's a pretty low number. We didn't have any big movies. Like we didn't have Venom: The Last Dance, which was the big movie around Halloween time last year. Of course, you went and saw Back to the Future back in theaters. But as far as new big tentpoles go, Black Phone 2 is a good movie, and while it's been a huge year for horror movies, clearly not enough money to go around. And a lot of horror movies they're not front loaded. They'll keep making money. So I expect Black Phone 2 to keep making money. Oh, I do have actually peanut butter cups, many of them. I actually don't think I have Butterfinger. I'm not a big Butterfinger guy, Steven. But John, what do you make of this?
Specifically, I got Milky Way, Three Musketeers, Snickers, and Twix. Although they gave me like no fucking Twix, and I'm still pissed about it. Anyway,
I got Twix. If there's Wonka Vision, I can pass it anyway.
But
what do you make of this, John? 31-year low at the box office.
It's not great, but like people are out. Also,
I just realized I was on the wrong microphone. Whoopsie daisies. But that's okay. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty. I don't know. Like, obviously, it's just like yet another thing of like, oh, hey, people aren't going to the movies. Okay, yeah, I could have fucking told you that from like the companies are going through right now. It's just like this. Yeah, of course. Like, plus it's like holiday. Why the fuck would people go to the movies?
I mean, but
and there's no big thing. The biggest thing was Black Phone 2, which is like a rinky-dink horror franchise from a rinky-dink horror indie company, essentially. So, yeah, it's just like...
I mean, let's not downplay... I mean, the Black Phone 2 is, again, a well-made movie.
I'm saying that as someone who loves
pretty good
so,
person. Yeah. Oh, you guys are just talking about candies in the chat now. No banger. No, exactly, Dark Lead, Eric. That's the big thing. There were no big tentpoles, John. In fact, if you go to the next article, which is going to show us the charts, I mean, we can see what the top 10 actually look like.
Yes.
Of course, beyond just the top 2 movies, because we'll talk about some of the TV stuff later. But as far as movies go, playing in theaters,
where is that?
Oh, there we go. There Jesus. It is. There we go. The Black Phone 2 at number 1, Regretting You, coming in a little. It actually came in a little under 8 million.
Back to the Future is number 5. Should say a lot.
But you look at the rest of them, Chainsaw Man, the movie Reze Arc, like making 6.2 million. I have no idea what the hell that is. Begonia, okay, we've heard about Begonia quite a bit from the festival circuit. 5 million, that's about where you would expect it to be. But like you said, Back to the Future in a re-release made almost the same amount of money as Begonia did. And then you got Springsteen Delivered Me from Nowhere
movie down here, like
yeah, Bahubali the Epic. That's that. It is an epic. You got Demon Slayer still hanging out in there.
I mean, to be fair, what Bollywood movie is not an epic? I feel like all of them are like 2.5 to 3 hours long. Well, and just have the most insane stuff.
No, but also, well, there's a lot more Bollywood movies than you would realize, but also it's not that one is not a bad Bollywood movie. It's like a Tollywood movie because it's technically in Telugu, I think. It's named.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
So it's not technically Bollywood, which is Hindi cinema.
Piece of shit.
Great. MK2. What is Johnny. By the way, hello, Johnny. What is MK2? What are you referring? What is
Mortal
MK2? Am I
Kombat
missing
2.
something?
Because remember, it got delayed.
Oh, right. That would see
And
now.
remember,
If Mortal
Secret Wars was supposed
Kombat
to
came
come
out,
in
that
a
would
couple
have helped.
days. Secret Wars was supposed to come out in a couple days. Supposed to come out on the 7th this week. So good times had by all.
Secret Wars or Dooms? I think you
No,
mean
Secret
Doomsday.
Wars, because Kang Dynasty was supposed to come out last year.
Oh, you mean the original plan?
Yeah.
Okay, because that plan has moved and
last
changed
year,
like
and
3 times.
Secret Wars was this year.
Yeah. Well, okay, I think the biggest reason why we are where we are with the lowest in 31 years at the Halloween box office is clearly because you look at it, there's no movie in that top 5 that you would consider a big franchise film. None in the top 10 because we don't really count Tron as a big franchise anymore. But, I mean, Good Fortune making some money. One battle after another making a good amount of money. Well, you know, like good amount of money for a movie that's already been in theaters for a while, not even playing at 1,000 locations. But you look at all the movies that are playing in at least 2,000 to 3,000 theaters, no movie made even $10 million, John. So I guess we'll have to talk about this next year and see if there's another big franchise. I don't know if there's a big franchise movie coming out at Halloween next year, because even when it comes to, like you said, horror movies, Black Phone 2 is not like the biggest horror franchise. So if The Conjuring was coming out, for example, maybe that would have, you know, pushed for a much higher number. But yeah, Tony, they did delay those Avengers movies 5 times. And yes, I know Caleb, Hunter, you both brought this up, the whole situation with Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour. We are not going to talk about that on the show. We have heard about it. I have not looked into it enough to really form an opinion on it, but I mean, I did see the headlines and I did read a little bit into it. So we'll take some time, let that sort itself out. It's still new. We don't want to speculate. We don't want to add to that. That's just not the type of news we usually talk about. So, but there you go. I just wanted to address that. But with that said, John, we're not here to just talk about the movies at the box office, because especially not the ones that are just out right now, because, like I mentioned, it's been a record-setting year for horror movies at the box office. And our very own Stephen King, in fact, is responsible for a lot of that success. There was this really good article in The Wrap, which I have the Wrap Pro version, so I can read through it. This is actually behind a paywall, so I'm just going to TLDR it for you, John. The headline says it all. There's an It fever going on at a time, of course, when we have a Welcome to Derry show on air. It's aired 2 episodes, and both of them. Welcome to Derry had the 3rd highest premiere in the history of HBO. I think it was only behind House of the Dragon. If I remember, was it The Last of Us and the House of the Dragon? I think it was. So it had the 3rd highest premiere of any TV series on HBO, which is a big deal. HBO's been around for a long time. But Stephen King adaptations have generated over $650 million in streaming revenue since 2020. As HBO's It, Welcome to Derry is off to a big viewership start, King adaptations on the whole have proven to be valuable for streamers, but the top moneymaker may surprise you. John, what do you think about the incredible portfolio of Stephen King coming to life? I mean, it has been for decades, but it seems like of late, just the numbers have just picked up. And we were just at a point now where we're not just getting 1, not just 2, maybe 3, if even 4 Stephen King adaptations a year, both on the big and small screen. And on the big screen, starting on streaming, they've made $650 million, which is that's a big number since 2020.
I mean, R.L. Stine is essentially like Stephen King for the kids. Like, I mean, that's kind of the vibe I've gotten from him, but you know. But yeah, I mean, we've gotten 3 adaptations so far, getting a 4th in terms of movie with The Running Man, and then we have an adjacent King adaptation with It, Welcome to Derry. So technically 5 King related things. So like it makes sense. And It was the most popular. That was the one that's, I still believe, the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, along with its sequel. So I think Conjuring Last Rites might have just beaten Chapter 2. I think. I don't think it was world. It might have been just domestic. I don't know. But you know, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you know, like it's just like Stephen King. Like I feel like there's just more and more adaptations that come out, and with that, people go to streaming more because like you'll find some hidden gems that you would never have found without all this attention in the theatrical movie. So it's like, oh, this movie, because this is what happens. It's like, oh, Life of Chuck came out. Maybe you're interested in Shawshank Redemption. Oh, The Long Walk came out. Oh, maybe you're interested in Carrie. Like, it's like, plus you have those categories on streaming services, on demand, where it's like, hey, this thing's out in theaters. Why don't you check out this? So, you know, there's that as well. So I think it just makes perfect sense to me that you have like people like going after all these, you know, King adaptations. So yeah, makes sense to me.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of point out they have this chart in the article, the pre-release demand for Welcome to Derry. You look at it, and it's way higher than pretty much everything else that we have seen this year in recent times, in the last 5 years, from Stephen King. And even something like Chapel Wait, which I believe was one of those Epics, now MGM Plus shows. And you can see, actually, there's a couple of them, and they're the Institute as well. So you look at the level of anticipation that was there. You look at the streaming subscriber revenue from Stephen King adaptations, global Q1 2020 to Q2 2025. That's pretty much a full 5 years, John. Castle Rock actually is the one that generated the most streaming revenue for Stephen King adaptations on streaming. You talked about box office. I think it definitely is, you know, the highest movie, highest grossing movie. But Castle Rock made almost $60 million. The Shawshank Redemption, almost $36 million. In the Tall Grass, 34.1 million. The Shining, 32.1 million. The Green Mile, 30.8. Then The Outsider coming in a million below that, 29.8. Then we got Under the Dome at 29.3. The Mist with 28.6. Then the movie It from 2017 made $28.5 million. John, this is huge. I mean, you add those numbers up, yeah, 650 million. I mean, there's more beyond that, I'm sure, that they're adding together here, but that's a pretty impressive list. Like, Stephen King doesn't just generate hits at the box office, but clearly also on streaming. So yeah, is he the writer with the most adapted movies? I feel like he is, right, John? I mean, I think that's a pretty safe bet in terms of somebody who's had his work adapted more so than pretty much any other author ever. Right?
I think so.
I can't think of another example.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you could think, I guess maybe in a few years you might look at Lord of the Rings. Like,
I mean,
J.R.R. Tolkien.
Hang on. In the Tall Grass, I think that's based on a Joe Hill story, not a. Yeah, well, it's okay. So it's based on Stephen King and Joe Hill. Okay, so they worked on it together. I thought it was just a Joe Hill story.
Yeah. Well, Stephen King might as well be king of the world, as Tony was calling him, because you look at these numbers, the numbers don't lie. Stephen King movies.
I'm still pissed at Castle Rock.
And TV shows have generated over 650 million. A lot of people were and still are, John. But with that, let's move into the TV side of things, because we just went from the movies to the streaming world. And let's talk about television for a moment, since we're here doing our box office report. Well,
fuck
we know what
the
you
Dodgers
think
and fuck Shohei
about it, but
Ohtani.
hey, the Dodgers are back-to-back
them.
World Series
fuck the
champions.
MLB. Fuck them. I don't want to believe in conspiracy theories, but like I'm beginning to think this shit's fucking rigged because they can't have their golden child fucking
You're
losing
beginning
because
to
it's
think?
bringing in fucking revenue like this. They're bringing in 25 million viewers. They're bringing a shit ton of intel. So like all of this, of course, they like have to fucking like be like, we gotta have Shohei Ohtani win. Gotta have him win. It's his thing. Gotta have the Dodgers win. Californians don't even fucking like sports outside of the fucking Lakers. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, it's just bullshit. It's all bullshit, and like the one time where I actually
It was a
want
hell of
the
a series,
Birds
though.
to win in this fucking like, why do you have the Eagles fucking win, but you don't have the Blue Jays win? We have to deal with a fucking Eagles win, but we don't have a goddamn Blue Jays win. Fuck out of here with that shit.
Is California even a place?
Can go fucking Chuck Rocks, okay? Goddamn. Fucking sick of it. Like, I hate because I hate
I've
the
been
whole
to California.
Thing.
It is.
I
a
hate
place.
the whole thing. It's like, oh, the fucking NFL is like stage like wrestling. Yeah, it's such a bullshit theory that like there have literally been NFL commercials making fun of how stupid that theory is. But like, I'm beginning to think some of this shit's fucking rigged at this point. Like, you know. Yeah.
Well-
I just, it's just bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. And fuck the
Well-
Dodgers. Fuck Shohei Ohtani and his cheating ass.
Well, I will say
Fuck
though,
you.
the series was, if you didn't have any horse in the race, let's call it, it was one hell of a series because they've had extra innings multiple times. I mean, it was just crazy. Like it reminded me of I think, what was it, a few years ago with the Red Sox when they were in the World Series, and they got like, what was it, 14 or 16 innings, something like that. They basically played 2 games. Like that's what happened here. And Game 7 had a lot of drama too. But having said all that, on a weekend where the box office hit a 31-year low in the world of sports television, the World Series Game 7 hit an 8-year high in the ratings for the MLB. So there you go, Nielsen ratings telling us that the Fox telecast of the game brought in 25 million viewers across its entirety of its broadcast, which is huge for baseball, a sport that, some people might say is a dying sport. So, hey, at least on television, something was doing well, even though at the movies, things weren't so hot. So with that, we come to the end of the box office report. I hear that we have more news, John, to talk about. So, remember how last week, the last few weeks, maybe in the last few months, we've been talking about Warner Brothers potentially wanting to get itself sold off, and whether it's all one piece or multiple pieces, and then it was made official. Warner Brothers Discovery officially put themselves up for sale, saying we're going to consider all options, and we're going to try to maximize the value for our shareholders. The board will. And now, David Zaslav, who's at the center of all this, is the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. He just held court with Hollywood power players at a recent event, while, of course, the looming sale of Warner Brothers hung over the Weisenthal Gala, where you can see here, he was pictured alongside Steven Spielberg, Jeffrey Katzenberg, who, of course, founded DreamWorks alongside Steven Spielberg. David Ellison was there. Ted Sarandos was there. It's actually a really fun quote from Ted Sarandos I'm going to get into in a moment. But then you got Eddie Q there, all these other big power figures or figureheads from the different studios. If you scroll down, actually, there's a fun quote from, I think it was Ted Sarandos. No, it's in the first couple of paragraphs. I think he called David Zaslav, I think, like a really stand-up. If you go to the towards the top, it's in the first couple of paragraphs. No, you're going.
I think.
Down,
well,
going
David Zaslav sticks his neck out for everybody. There's that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, there's another one. Lots of compliments being paid to David Zaslav.
Oh yeah, it's almost like they really want to be in good graces with the guys. So there's that. But that would it's pretty fucking obvious.
Yeah, I mean, Ted Sarandos shouted out David Zaslav as one of the great guys. Apple's Eddie Q was there, of course, I mentioned earlier. So all of these folks, of course, I guess you could say buttering up David Zaslav, because a lot of these companies are currently interested in what David has to offer. And of course, we know Mr. Zaslav, he holds the power, whether it is to split the company in half and then sell it off for parts, or to sell it off in its entirety. He has a lot of sway over the board, and unless a hostile takeover happens, where somebody like a David Ellison and Paramount Skydance come in and go directly to the shareholders and bypass the board and David Zaslav with their cash offer for all the stock, which is unlikely, or maybe we will see if that ends up happening. I'm sure they want to do this amicably. David Zaslav ultimately has to sort of be the one, and he knows this, to sign off on any deal as a CEO. He's not the only person. Of course, the board gets to vote on that stuff, and we're probably going to end up tier listing all the different suitors for Warner Brothers on Tier List Tuesday tomorrow, because that seems to be winning the poll right now on the community post section of the YouTube channel. But John, let's dive into where everything stands. Last week, of course, we saw that Netflix really upped their interests. If you want to skip to the next article, we heard that Netflix they're exploring a bid. It is going to be a weird tier list.
It's fucking hilarious, because like Ted Sarandos is a fucking liar because he's like, oh, this is bullshit. We're not doing this. That makes no sense. All this other shit. Oh, but now we're bidding. Loser, fucking liar, asshole.
Well, here's the thing though. No, but none of these people have publicly said they're doing any of this. However, because Warner Brothers made the announcement publicly that they're putting themselves up for acquisitions and they're going to consider offers because they've received a bunch of, unsolicited bids. So now that means because they're officially up for sale, quote unquote, they're able to open their books out so that the companies, that potential bidders can actually take a look at the financials and then make not just like a random guess at what they want to bid for the company and what they think it's worth, but actually look at how much debt Warner Brothers has, how it's structured, what the interest rates might be on some of those loans and stuff, and how are they servicing it, where's the revenue coming from, what are your balance sheets looking like, and then after that make a bid that feels much more concrete, where Warner Brothers shareholders and their board especially will consider that. So Netflix, they actively are exploring a bid now. This was a report from last week. They hired the bank that advised Skydance in purchasing Paramount. So they're serious because this bank just facilitated the last big Hollywood merger and acquisition deal. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Tony, opening the books. So Netflix has now also been granted, like I said, access to WB's data room and financial details. This was similar to not that long ago when Discovery bought Warner Brothers. They got access from AT&T into Warner Brothers financials, and so they were able to make a good judgment. Now, here's the thing: in this exploratory process, Netflix could look at the books of Warner Brothers Discovery and say, you know what, not quite what we wanted. There's a bunch of stuff here that we didn't expect, and walk away. This isn't them like going in all the way and they're committed to anything. This is just them saying, okay, we're going to take this seriously and we're going to do our due diligence and maybe we'll find a good fit for this, or maybe we want to buy part of it. Remember, the co-CEOs of Netflix mentioned they have no interest in buying legacy networks, so they don't want their cable networks. They're most likely going to be doing the streaming and studio stuff. So HBO, all the IP, DC, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, all that stuff. They might even leave Warner Brothers as a theatrical arm of Netflix, because they've been putting more and more stuff in theaters. So NWB has a ring to it, says Tony. Netflix, Warner Brothers. It might be more Warner Brothers, a division of Netflix kind of a situation. But yeah, they've got an investment bank that handled the Paramount Skydance deal. So I don't think they're going to end up, footing the entire bill for the deal. They'll probably have some financial backing on it. And of course, they're doing their due diligence, but they're not the only one, John. Let's keep on going here because we got to talk about all the other suitors. Because of course, Netflix, we know publicly at this point, even if they're not saying that they're doing it, they're doing the work behind the scenes to at least figure out if it might work or not. Hey, Bass Reeves, are you okay? Are you okay? And I don't know. Is Annie okay enterprising? I guess we'll find out. But Comcast also, remember Comcast president Brian Roberts said that the bar remains very high for a merger and acquisition as Warner Brothers Discovery put itself up for sale. And then we got this report again from the Wrap where Mike Kavanaugh was saying you should expect us to look at things that are trading in the space around our industry. So, hello, Acres of Movies. How are you doing today? It's the Mutant Monkeys, yeah. You know what? Aaron Pierre could be a great Prince. That maybe he's a little too big to play Prince, like physically, stature-wise. But anyway,
people can.
So Comcast, but he can't lose like inches off his height anyway. I think he's a little too tall. But then again,
okay.
I don't think that's.
They meant like big, as in like muscular, broad, big. Okay.
No. I think he's physically like much bigger dude than Prince was. It's like if you wanted, I don't know, like if you wanted who plays Alan Ritchson to play Freddie Mercury from the Queen biopic Bohemian Rhapsody, that would be like a bad fit. I'm exaggerating, but getting back to the point with Comcast. So where does Comcast stand? There are some industry analysts saying that Comcast, despite the fact that the bar remains very high, meaning that they will really, really look hard and look very closely at any potential new acquisition, they have money and they have money to spend. They also have the backing financially. And also Comcast, aka the owners of NBC Universal, aka Universal Pictures, NBC, and everything, you know, that goes along with it. Peacock. They're just spinning off for Sant, so they're getting rid of a lot of their cable networks. And of course, the big thing for Comcast is, are they going to be able to get the merger approved by the current administration? But if that's something they can get past, then I think Comcast has a lot of the resources and the might and potentially, you know, the pieces that will fit together with what Warner Brothers has to offer. The big problem would be, again, they already have Universal Pictures, so it would be like a Disney Fox merger where, you know, you end up with fewer movies going to theaters overall after the merger than before it. So there you go. Comcast also looking into the all of the possibilities at this point. Although again, publicly they're saying, you know, the bar is really high, but they're doing their due diligence now. So let's keep on rolling here, John, because we're gonna keep on talking about, you know, what else is going on. We're gonna try to attack this from all the different angles because there's a lot
Sorry
of
about
reporting
the
around
bar
this.
on screen. It's just like I'm not playing for,
It's all
paying
good.
for fucking Bloomberg. So. But you can still see the headline, so that's all that matters.
And speaking of David Zaslav, he told the staff at Warner Brothers, the board of Warner Brothers, that they want a higher. He wants a higher takeover bid. Now, of course, we know that Paramount has already bid 3 times. But John, if you go to the next article, it looks like David Ellison has not given up his pursuit. His last offer was $23.5 per share. And it was 80% cash. Now, of course, Warner Brothers is now sharing out that financial data that they have with the potential suitors. So David Ellison could look at those numbers, the actual financials, and be like, 23.5 was a little too high. Maybe I won't go any higher. But if you keep going here, I think the reporting tells us that Paramount might not be quite done yet. David Ellison may still raise the Paramount bid for Warner Brothers Discovery, you know, bringing in an investment bank, so that means they're serious about this. Comcast still a little bit on the out, but they are considering it. And then, of course, we know Paramount, they're like head over heels wanting Warner Brothers because they know they actually need Warner Brothers to for market and scale. They want to compete with something like a Disney. Paramount needs the IP, so we know they're interested. But Amazon also, according to this article here, I believe this is from, let me see, where is this article? The Cord Cutters News. So they put this out there saying that Amazon is eyeing buying up Warner Brothers Discovery, a potential media powerhouse merger. Now, of course, Amazon already owns MGM. The MGM that they bought did not have the studio backlot that the MGM of old used to have. So as far as physical, like, you know, property assets go, that's you know, completely different. Sorry. But yeah, it's a whole different story, completely separate from what they're looking at now. Because with Warner Brothers, they would get some of the best sound stages in all of Hollywood. They would also be getting a lot of things that quite frankly, even MGM does not provide them. And you know what? The biggest thing that they'll get out of this deal from Amazon would be the IP. They would get a lot of the IP that Warner Brothers has, like Game of Thrones. They have House of the Dragon. There's so much more there that, you know, currently James Bond is the biggest thing that Amazon MGM has. And while that is still huge, it's not Harry Potter, it's not DC. Plus, when you think about it, Jeff Bezos has all the money in the world, quite frankly, and Amazon, as you know, by way of that, Amazon does to spend on this. But with Amazon looking at potentially getting, probably not the TV networks, but everything else, all the IP, the streaming, and the studios, Comcast probably looking to do something similar, as well as Netflix, and Paramount wanting the whole thing. Movie studio, you know, mergers are something that don't always work out. We've talked about how Fox and Disney came together, and while Disney has done a good job of essentially shepherding, you know, all of the franchises, not all of them, but, like, you know, doing a decent job of shepherding along the all the different IP that they got from Fox. But at the end of the day, they're not pushing out the same amount of movies that Fox would have been doing if 21st Century Fox was still its own thing. And that's really where a lot of the theatrical executives, meaning the people who work on the distribution side, like potentially for an AMC or for a Regal, those executives, anonymously so, but they were telling The Wrap, and this is an article from Jeremy Fuster on thewrap.com, where they were talking about just really ringing the alarm bells. Like, there's a red alert. This is a red alert moment for theaters. A sale for Warner Brothers is a red alert moment, because this could really crush a lot of the theatrical output. I'll read a little bit of this because I think this is important here, because regardless of whether it is Paramount, Netflix, or Comcast, Warner Brothers, under one of those other studios and or companies, if you want to consider Netflix more of a streaming company than a studio, not only would those mergers face some antitrust legal issues, but let's say they get past it. We already know, like, the Writers Guild is going to be against it. I'm sure they're not the only one. But theatrically, it's going to mean fewer movies coming to theaters, right? Multiple theatrical executives, according to this article, spoke to The Wrap past week on the condition of anonymity and conveyed a sense of grave concern, if not panic, over the possibility of a studio that grossed more than $4 billion worldwide this year. And, well, it provided a lot of the box office hits for the past 6 months. We've talked about Warner Brothers has had a hit after another. They had a streak of movies opening at 40 million or more on opening weekends. I think there was 7 or 8 movies in a row, which is crazy. It's a record. They broke their own record after setting it earlier in the year. So that same studio being assimilated into another company will definitely have its output dramatically curtailed. Now, the only buyer so far that has sort of like pitched the idea that we could do this and not curtail the output, that was, of course, David Ellison of Paramount, because he's saying, we are gonna, buy you guys, but we're gonna continue to put out the same amount of movies, if not double. Like, he wants to put out, what was it, like 30 odd movies, and yeah. Yeah, MGM does own a lot of the earlier Warner Brothers libraries, but then also Warner Brothers owns a bunch of MGM's library because of one of their bankruptcies, the Dark Lead Eric point noted. But here's the thing, like, David Ellison was suggesting, like, we could do 30 movies a year, which would be double of what they're doing now. So, like, they could potentially keep up the amount of inventory that Warner Brothers puts out in theaters, potentially. But it's also a little speculative, and I'm sure, like, they'll be vulnerable to the market just as as much as any other studio. David Ellison has a lot of money, a lot of backing to pull this off, but still, I would be skeptical, as are these theatrical owners. So that's really where things are right now. Like, you've got Amazon, you've got Apple so far has not made a lot of waves, but you'd imagine that Apple might be looking into it as well. They might want access to the financials, figure out what's working, what's not working. Maybe they want to buy part of Warner Brothers, maybe just the streaming service, just the IP, and merge that with Apple TV potentially. Amazon, we know for sure. Comcast, we know for sure. Netflix, we know for sure. Of course, Paramount. So there's at least 4 bidders right now, and we're gonna do a tier list of all this tomorrow. But we'll have to wait and see what happens, because right now there's alarm bells being rung by some parties, and then of course, at least not publicly, but certainly behind the scenes, some of the biggest companies in all of Hollywood, including other studios like Paramount and Comcast, aka Universal Pictures, they want to see if they can acquire Warner Brothers. This isn't the first time Warner Brothers would be sold potentially, but we'll have to see where this ends up eventually. It's gonna be interesting, whichever direction it goes. But we'll keep you guys updated on how things work out. Ultimately, if I had to make my pick, I don't know. I would say, and again, this is right now, just right now, I feel like you guys might be like, you're really saying this is your pick? But Paramount has made 3 bids. Like, they've made 3 bids. They're clearly not messing around. Not to mention, they're in a position where they've got money to spend, and they seem to have the equity firms on their side as well. So yeah, we'll have to just see which direction they go. Netflix is doing its due diligence. They can easily walk away. Apple, we have no idea like what their level of interest is, but you got to imagine they're going to at least look into this because they got money to spend, even though the shareholders probably don't really care for buying a movie studio. Amazon already has a movie studio, so you can imagine they're going to want to potentially try to up that. But Paramount is the most interested right now. So I'm just saying, what's the most likely scenario? Probably Paramount. That's where I'm at with this. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Lego fan, hello, saying Apple because they don't own a studio, but Paramount seems better and better as days go. That's the thing. It's that level of interest. For all we know, the interest from Apple is literally goes up in smoke and thin air because there's really not much interest at all. We want Apple to make the deal, but I don't think Apple is as interested in as maybe some reporting has led us on to believe. Netflix has more money than Paramount. Not since the Skydance merger, because now with the Ellisons in the fold, Skydance has some real money. You remember the Skydance merger with Paramount, Bass Reeves, was backed by Larry Ellison, father of David Ellison, the second richest man in the world. So they've got the money to spend, and 474 billion is not what Netflix has in the bank. That's not like money to spend money. That's something different. Is Lego fan John? I don't know if Lego fan. I did not know that. Bass has researched this. All right. Well, if you researched it, then, but we'll see. Yeah, the AOL Time Warner era, Acres of Movies, was a fun era. It only lasted like for a short period of time, and then it just was like, yep, that didn't work. Speaking of which, AOL just got sold again. I think somebody in China bought them. But yeah, I mean, there's a difference between money in the bank, Bass, to address your point, and then money that's tied up in the equity of the company. Netflix doesn't have that money in the bank. Most companies don't. Apple has billions of dollars in the bank. I'm sure Comcast has a few. Disney still has to pay off a lot of the debt that they acquired. It was debt-based financing. Basically, they took out a really, really big loan to pay for a lot of the 21st Century Fox acquisition. So I don't think Disney's coming in and making a bid because of that. Yeah, exactly. Liquid money. That's the point. So money in the bank, you want to think of it that way. Apple has plenty of money. The Skydance folks have plenty of money over at Paramount. And they also, I think, if I remember correctly, Apollo was involved, like one of the equity firms. So they've got them backing the bid. We know Sony pretty much said no, they're not going to focus. They're going to focus on anime. They're not focused on the other stuff. So there's that. But hey, I'm sure we'll find out probably this week, like who's ahead in the race and where things are headed. But if there are any updates, we'll keep you informed. But yeah, we'll talk about it as the updates come in. I personally think right now the most likely is Paramount to win this, but again, that could change. Especially because David Zaslav seems to not be convinced by all three of their bids, and he wants to go in a different direction, split the company in half, and then potentially get more money out of it by selling the two pieces separately. So we will have to wait and see how that works out. But right now, it's time for MCU Weekly, because we've got some MCU stories to get into, some the stuff from the Marvel part of the comic book universe before we get into all the DC news. Fans had some fun. I'm sure you guys came across this. There were some unusual promo shots of John Bernthal and, of course, also Charlie Cox's Daredevil, and, of course, with Punisher there. Basically, they didn't use them for Daredevil Born Again, but like these images were put up online. I forget if it was a leak or if this was just officially put out. But the photos were kind of eccentric. Like, I was looking at them, I'm like, okay, they didn't use them. I can kind of see why they took these, but you could clearly tell these photos, if they were to make it into an official poster somewhere, the background would have been removed and you wouldn't be seeing like the roll of paper or the lighting. But you probably see Frank in the back somewhere and off to the side or with some other artwork, but it's clearly out of context here. Makes for great meme fodder because there you go. So I am not surprised that people are memeing the hell out of this. I even saw some of the Daredevil stuff, and comparing the suits. This was fun. It was a fun exercise. After all, it was Halloween weekend, so you might as well have fun with it. And in other Marvel news, though, talking about Halloween, Charlie Cox dressing up as Loki and Tom Hiddleston dressing up as Daredevil. It's basically dressing up as each other's characters for the Halloween weekend. And you know what? Maybe in an alternate timeline, that's the way things played out. Probably not, but when you have a million possibilities or more, this looks pretty good. I would have bought Tom Hiddleston as Daredevil. I don't know if Charlie Cox needs to have the facial hair to play Loki. But is that who is that? No, that's Tom Hiddleston's wife, right? She's dressed up as Captain Marvel. She was actually the villain of the Marvels. I remember we talked about that. That was nice. So meanwhile, in an alternate universe, yes, just some geek. That seems to be what this is. And these are some great photos and some great costumes too. Coppola calls you, so he says, making Godfather 4, what is your budget? You give him asking acres of movies. I would say pitch me the movie, send me the script, then we'll talk about the budget, because if you remember, nobody gave him even a distribution deal for Megalopolis. So I don't know. There's something to be said about him maybe past his peak of his prime, or just maybe his powers have faded. And I don't see any reason they need to make a Godfather 4. And most studios at this point in time are not going to give even Francis Ford Coppola a blank check. There's very few filmmakers right now that would command that, and you could probably count them on one hand, maybe even three fingers. So, and Francis Ford Coppola, unfortunately, is not one of them. So anyway, Avengers Doomsday fans were up to some speculations. I'm sure that includes all of us, because I know a lot of us are going to go see Avengers Doomsday. But the Russo brothers just shared a video featuring Doctor Doom and Iron Man's masks, and of course this is from the Agbo team. The Agbo, of course, is the production company of the Russo brothers, and we know they're in post-production on Avengers Doomsday, and they're also going to be filming Avengers Secret Wars next year. And their social team was on TikTok posting these clips of course, the Iron Man mask, and then seemingly juxtaposing it with a clip of the Doctor Doom mask, which again, this is the whole yin yang thing. That they're maybe they're implying they're two sides of the same coin. Like, is that what they're implying? Like, same new mask, same task is what Robert Downey Jr. said at the announcement. You can see that this is a cracked, and actually it's cracked in two different places, mask of Doctor Doom. So it's interesting. It's a bigger mask than the Iron Man mask. I don't know if you want to take that literally. Also, in the background of the photo here, you can see they got Franklin Richards. Clearly, that kid is growing up way too fast. Must be some kind of like superhero. And then, of course, you've got the Sue Storm costume, which looks pretty much the same as what we saw in the movie Fantastic Four. And then, of course, right behind this, these two ladies here, you've got, I'm sure, the Doctor Doom costume, which we saw it all in that post-credit scene. So, what does this mean? I don't know. This is a lot of teasing. I can't tell you like if this means anything, other than the fact that they're again trying to imply the duality of the roles, that they cast Robert Downey Jr. for a particular reason. So we're going to be getting potentially some sort of connection to our Tony Stark. We'll have to wait and find out how that all plays into the story. But yeah, it's. It's gonna be interesting to see how it all works out ultimately. I for one, I just hope it's a good movie. Yeah, it's probably Caleb. It's probably a yin yang thing. That's most likely what it is. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, the movie is still what, like a year away. And I mean, the big concern that I have more than anything else, the Russo brothers, they have to spend the time filming the next movie, and are they going to be doing post-production on Doomsday at the same time? You got to imagine that's the plan, right? And that's a lot of time dedicated to post-production on one huge Avengers movie, while they're also in production on a second one. It's that worries me a little bit, because in the beginning they were saying that they're going to be producing the two movies simultaneously, like back to back, like the Matrix movies back in the 2000s. but it looks like that's not really the case. Like they're gonna start filming Secret Wars next year. I'm sure they maybe filmed some parts of it already because of actor schedules and whatnot. So maybe parts of Secret Wars have already been filmed, but clearly they've pushed out those movies for the reason that they're going to be filming them a little further apart than maybe we were led to believe initially. So there's that. But I know John's usually got a hot take on this. That like the Batman Part 2 is more likely to make like bank and outgross the Avengers movies, but I hate to admit it. Right now, unless the movie is really trash, I really don't think that Avengers has anything to worry about, because it's just the nostalgia factor alone. Like Deadpool and Wolverine wasn't. It was a good movie. It was a serviceable movie. Don't get me wrong, but it was certainly nothing that completely. I didn't even like really tear up during that movie. Like. And maybe I don't have as much nostalgia for the X-Men from back in the early 2000s, especially because they got Blade. I mean, sure, Blade was popular, but Blade is if a Blade movie ever gets made, don't be surprised if a Blade movie doesn't make as much money as like an X-Men movie would make, because Blade was popular, but he was never that popular. It's kind of like how people were like, Agatha all along was seen by more people than Daredevil Born Again. Well, yes, it was, because no shit, like Daredevil wasn't as popular as you might think. It has a cult following, and rightfully so. It's a great show, and the Daredevil Born Again did better, I'd imagine, than even Daredevil the original show did. Well, maybe not as good as like the latter seasons, because like the show got more popular as it went along, but to get back to my original point, I think like the Avengers Doomsday does not need to be a complete home run to be a 2 billion, not maybe, well, let's say maybe 1.5 billion. I think that's more or less guaranteed. 2 billion, that's a bit more. That's a bit more iffy for me. Like I think it can easily get to 1.5 billion, but like, yeah, 2 billion might be asking for a little bit too much. So we'll have to wait and see for that. But in the meantime, you guys let me know what do you think about this tease from Avengers Doomsday. Yin and Yang is Tony Stark. I mean, I know like this particular Doctor Doom is meant to be a Tony Stark variant, but how closely are they related? Is like. I wonder how it all connects. Like that's really the key here. And it looks like the the recent reporting on the trailer that we might get in front of Avatar Fire and Ash, that trailer might show us more of a universal monster like Doctor Doom, which would be, I think, if you're gonna go in that direction, you better go all the way. So we'll have to wait and see. You guys let me know in the comments down below. Right now, we're gonna move into the quicker part of the news. So that's right, it's time for the quick hits, people. So I'm going to hit that quick hits music, get that Bossa Nova elevator music in here. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Okay, now let's dive into it, shall we? YouTube TV rejected Disney's request to restore ABC for Election Day as carriage talks continue. I'm sure you guys know the latest thing that YouTube TV has gotten itself into is a carriage fight with Disney, and then therefore, if you wanted to watch, like myself, watch Monday Night Football, and you have YouTube TV like myself, then you were shit out of luck, as they would say, because YouTube TV doesn't have Disney or ESPN currently available. If you subscribe to ESPN, like the new ESPN service, which I don't know what is like $40 a month or something like that, then you can watch ESPN and all the live stuff. Maybe you can even watch ABC through your ABC app, or maybe if you want to get it over the air, connect a tuner to your television. But if you have YouTube TV, you are SOL, and that fight continues. In the meantime, Disney's like, pushing people to subscribe to their Disney Plus streaming service, or get maybe Hulu Live TV, which I think still exists. And then of course ESPN. So this is a stalemate as of right now, but we'll see where things go. I wonder if this will end first, this whole fight, or maybe the government shut down the US. I'm not putting a bet on any of that, but moving on to the next thing. Fandango posted this, and this is from the Godzilla Fest event that happened recently, where they officially announced the name. Toho presenting us with Godzilla Negative 0.0, which is the sequel to Godzilla Minus Zero. I don't know how you pronounce this right, but I guess -0 is maybe how you pronounce it. There you go. It was Godzilla -1, now it's -0. So I guess the next one will be -1, and then -2, which or -1, -2, I don't get the naming convention, but cool. Godzilla -0. It was -1, and then now it's -0. So cool. It's a little confusing. I don't think a North American executive would make this decision, but then again, this is not Hollywood. That's why we like this version of Godzilla, because it ain't your Hollywood Godzilla, which we will be getting another one of those next year too, so we'll have to wait and see. But I'm excited. I know you guys are probably excited too. John is probably really excited. But hey, speaking of being excited, I actually am legit curious to see how well Noah Centineo, or not how well, he plays Rambo in a prequel, which quite frankly nobody asked for, but hey, I guess we'll give it a shot. That movie, that Rambo prequel, has now landed at Lionsgate, as the studio has also struck a major deal for the Expendables rights. So this is interesting. These are both action franchises that they got a deal, that Lionsgate struck a deal with Millennium Media that owns them. Under those terms, the studio has acquired the rights to develop and produce all derivative works, including feature film and television productions of the Expendables franchise, as well as the worldwide distribution rights to John Rambo, the upcoming 6th installment of the Rambo film series. So yeah, looks fun. I mean, look, I for one at this point, I don't think we need more Expendables movies. If you're gonna give me Expendables, just give me TV shows. Like that's what I want. Hello Monique, how are you doing? Silliest title, yes, Godzilla -0. You know, it's, yeah, I'm excited for it. It's a weird title. I mean, again, it's the visual of it. It's just weird. I don't think most Americans or most people outside. I digress. We're moved on. Rambo prequel. Lionsgate got a deal for the Expendables. Vin Diesel and you know what? They do need a bit of family. Daniel, what's your favorite actress that is best in comedy movies, acres of movies? Best comedic actress. I don't really know if I've really got one off the top of my head. I have to think about that one. That's a good question. Hello, Monique, again. Nice to see you here. Rambo prequel, 135 million worldwide, maybe across this entirety of its run, maybe. Generic Vietnam war movie with Noah Centineo. I guess that's where we're going with this. I'm gonna have to think about that whole, best comedic actress off the top of my head. I don't know. Like, I guess I don't watch a ton of comedies these days because they don't make a ton. I don't know who does have good timing. Isla Fisher is pretty good. I just saw something with her in it. I don't know if she's would be the best one or my favorite, but a name comes to mind. Well, remember the original. So when remember the original Rambo movie was with First Blood, which was after he's back from the Vietnam War. Then everything else after was like a prequel. So I guess now they're doing a young Rambo movie, but obviously Sylvester Stallone is too old, even though he thinks that you could de-age her or him, sorry, down to a 16, 18-year-old. No, you can't. So they're gonna have to hire Noah Centineo. But speaking of de-aging, you don't have to de-age any of these actors. Eloise, live action movie lands at Netflix. Eloise? Hopefully I said that right. With, of course, Ryan Reynolds co-starring in the movie. This looks interesting. Newcomer Mei Shank is ready to check into the Plaza Hotel. She'll star in the live-action Eloise film based on the beloved children's book about a mischievous young girl who lives on the tippy-top floor of the iconic New York City landmark. Shank will spar on screen with Ryan Reynolds, who is playing an original villainous character in the movie, according to Netflix. Finally, Ryan Reynolds playing a villain. I can't wait to see how this plays out. Although it's a kids movie, so for the most part, probably going to be fun to watch. But then again, it's Netflix, so I don't know. Batman v Superman star Jesse Eisenberg reveals he's donating his kidney to a stranger. Look at that. He's become an altruistic donor. Did not see that coming from our former Lex Luthor. But you know what? I'm actually one of those people who's looking forward to Now You See Me, Now You Don't. So, and I think while he might be a bit one note at times, Jesse Eisenberg is a pretty good, gosh darn good actor. Also a good director. So he was recently on the Today Show, and during the interview on the show, talking about his new movie, he talked about like his proclivity for blood donations, and well, then he revealed to us that he'll be donating his kidney in December as an altruistic donor, saying, I'm actually donating my kidney in 6 weeks. I really am. I don't know why. I got like bitten by the blood donation bug. I'm doing an altruistic donation mid-December. Yeah, so there you go. Now, of course, if you don't know what that means, if you are an altruistic living donor or non-directed kidney donor, you are somebody who's donating their kidney to somebody they don't know personally. So like, if, for example, I know I know somebody, a friend who donated their kidney to their wife's brother, I think it was, and so like, you know, that in that case you obviously know the person. In this case, like, Jesse does not know who he's donating to, but obviously somebody who needs it. So good on Jesse Eisenberg. I think this is wonderful of him to do, and obviously big sacrifice. So hopefully, I mean, I'm sure he's thought it through, and his, you know, doctors have advised that this is something he can actually go through with. So, but yeah, one less kidney. So, you know, just be careful, Jesse. But this next one comes to us from TIFFCOM, where Japan's anime industry, according to this report, has expanded 15% to $25 billion in 2024. The record annual results for Japan's booming anime industry were achieved even before the recent historic success of Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, which, may I remind you, that movie, that anime movie, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, made more money at the box office than Superman and F1. Think about that. It's in the top 5, and it kicked out both of those movies from the top 5. Now, moving on to the next thing. One Piece. Speaking of anime, One Piece, the live action One Piece, season 3, has added Cole Escola as Bon Clay. I have no idea who Bon Clay is, but hey, Cole, they will play Bon Clay in the show, which is a live action, of course, adaptation of the manga series of the same name. The official character description reads, a master of performance and precision, Bon Clay is as dangerous as they are dazzling, a theatrical assassin who turns combat into art. That looks fun. I've only seen a little bit of it. I don't know if you guys are fans of it. I mean, anime is the next frontier enterprising. I'm not surprised to see, you know, that it's growing as much as it is. Everybody and anybody, you know, who's a fan of anime obviously has Crunchyroll, so there you go. And Sony, that's why they're like, we're gonna put our money there instead of at Warner Brothers. So they must be doing something right, if their movie actually has grossed more than F1 and Superman, both of which were distributed by Warner Brothers. But speaking of anime, well, this is not really anime, but this is animation. Toy Story 5, we just got some leaked promo art featuring the franchise's apparent new lead, Woody's updated look, and more characters. Now, we also have some comments from Tim Allen, who, in a recent interview, of course, he voices Buzz Lightyear in the franchise, if you're not familiar. He sort of gave away a few details, saying that Joan Cusack's Jessie will apparently serve as the movie's lead, and then this 5th Toy Story movie, it might serve as more of like a reboot, maybe like a soft reboot of the franchise. And he mentioned in this recent interview, this thing, Toy Story 5, they reboot everything. It's all about Jessie, which is really cool. She's in trouble. She needs help. We are all over, so she has to gather everybody. The funniest thing to me, said Tim Allen, is that there's a plane crash like that one, you know, Tom Hanks movie Castaway, on the island where a FedEx plane or something with 100 Buzz dolls lands, and they're all lost. It's hysterical. They're trying to find their way back, and there are 100 of them. I hope they have it in there. I ad-lib. So here's the leaked art from the movie. You can clearly tell it looks like Jessie might be, you know, front and center more so than Woody and Buzz, but you do see their new looks. I like the concept. You know, if it's meant to be some sort of a soft reboot, sure, we'll see. I don't know what that really means just yet, but I've been a Toy Story fan for a long time, and for me, obviously the franchise peaked at Toy Story 3, cried my heart out, but you know, we'll see. Toy Story 4 was not my cup of tea, but maybe 5 will be. Snowfall, spin-off on Leon and Wanda, has been ordered to series by FX. If you're a fan of the Snowfall franchise, of course, Damson Idris, that's where he got famous before he ended up in F1. Now, of course, Isaiah John, Gail Bean, and a bunch of producers from the original series will be returning to FX for this spin-off. So if you're a fan of the franchise, well, you'll get to see Leon Simons and Wanda back in their own show. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. And if you're not a fan of that, maybe you're a fan of Jon Stewart, because he has re-upped his Daily Show deal through 2026. Monday nights, of course, will continue to look the same. And unlike Monday Night Football, which if you're a YouTube subscriber you can't get right now, you will be able to get the Daily Show with Jon Stewart on every Monday, at least through 2026, which is encouraging, because it's not a good time to be a late night show host. A lot of those guys are losing their jobs, but Jon Stewart gets to keep his, which good for him, and I like his work. And to finish off the quick hits, we get a little hint of DC before we get into actual DC. Calling all Batsy Pops, according to this Ladies Night Starter Pack. Signs of a Sociopath on Discovery ID, and then you got a little bit of I don't know, hair and makeup stuff, pillows and charcuterie boards, and what is that candy again? I'm forgetting what that is. Anyway, I tried to make sense of this. This looks great, but yeah, it looks interesting. Yeah, Jon Stewart is hilarious in half. Yeah, this looks like a good time. It looks like a great time. But you know what? It also looks like a great time, the quick hits, and now we're done with them. So let me know in the comments down below what you thought about all of those quick hits. I'm gonna hit a stop on that music. Of course, if you have been enjoying the show so far, don't go anywhere. We're not done yet, not even close to being done yet. We still have a number of things to go. Of course, we got to get into all the DC stuff. There's a lot of it here, so I'm gonna see if I can load it all up for you guys. Let me see if I can pull that up. I'm actually gonna, in the meantime, I might need to take a bit of a break, because I'm going solo here for a little bit, so I'm feeling a bit parched. I'm gonna need to go grab myself a bit of a drink. But don't you worry, because I ain't gonna be gone for very long. We have of course got lots to get into here on DC. Got Lanterns we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna be talking about Superman. We've got Batman 2 news. We got lots of Zack Snyder news. I can't wait for that. So it's gonna be interesting, and well, more than anything, maybe John will be back on the show. We'll see. But in the meantime, let's hit that intro, and as the waiter once upon a time said, where's the soundbite? Where's the soundbite? Let me find it. DC time.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka.
Oh, there we go. It's DC time, everybody. Welcome to another episode of DCU Daily. We're gonna get into it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, so we've got a bunch of news. There was a lot happening in the world of DC. Sometimes it's a little light on DC news. Today, I promise you, it's not light, because we've got a lot to get into, especially because it was Halloween weekend. Of course, if you guys are not aware already, we talked about a bunch of DC costumes from this past weekend that a lot of celebrities were rocking. But in addition to all of that, we've got some more stuff to get into. Maybe some more fan casting insights. Not so much fan casting, just like some celebrities putting themselves, into the running for some roles, maybe in the new DCU, maybe in some Elseworld stories. We'll be getting into some Nightwing talk, maybe Wonder Woman stuff. There's some fan art that we have. Also, Absolute Wonder Woman. We're going to talk about that too. And Man of Tomorrow, as well as Zack Snyder, of course. We can't not talk about Zack Snyder. So with that in mind, of course, I am your host. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. Am I cutting up a little bit? There we go. I'm back. Figure Drawing is here. Speaking of fan casting, I have the Ultimate Wonder Woman casting. Melissa Barrera would be Ace. Ooh, yeah. Well, I think, did we? I don't know if you mentioned her. Besides, she was fired from the new Scream because she's the opposite of Gal Gadot. I don't know if that's the reason why she would be cast in this. But we'll have to see. I'm sure Melissa Barrera is a great actress. I mean, I think she was one of the better parts of that movie, the Scream movie that she was a part of, at least. Yeah. Acres of Movies, you run DC. Tommy Lee Jones calls you. He says he wants another crack at playing Two-Face. He wants a limited series, just one season to prove he has a new take and wants to do it. What do you say? I say no, Tommy. You're too old. Just retire, please. We already got that one in the bag a long time ago. But I believe we have John back on. John, how are you doing? What part of DC are you excited to talk about?
I'm doing okay. I'm excited to rage bait about lanterns because I'm angry about that. That's kind of why I came back. Because like I just like people needed me, so I'm a superhero at heart, so I needed so I went to go do that. So I'm back and I'm here to talk about the wonderful world of DC, not Disney. DC. There we go. So
Yeah, we'll be talking about it. Yeah, and then you know what, Figure Drawing, it is a good point. I think Melissa Barrera probably. I don't look. I'm not gonna pass judgment on how she handled her exit from the franchise, the reasons behind the exit from it, and I'm not, again, like, if anything, I probably land on her side of the argument anyway. But it's unfortunate, like in Hollywood, or in a lot of industries, but. She has had a few opportunities, but yeah, definitely not been as successful or garnered as much attention, since leaving the Scream franchise under admittedly, not controversial. Well, I guess you could say it was definitely controversial circumstances, but Melissa Barrera would be a great part of the DCU. I don't know if Wonder Woman is the role for her, even though, I mean, I think she's got the build for it. She's definitely got the build for it. But I think we're getting a little sidetracked. Kyle Chandler is bland. Well, you know what? Maybe that's the version of Hal Jordan they're going for. They just, because I don't think Hal Jordan is going to survive that series the way they're talking about. Like, it's really about passing the torch. So I don't know if Kyle Chandler will be, long for the DCU, quite frankly. I think they're going to make the transition to Jon Stewart as our Lantern while we get through the 8 episodes next year. So is it a matter of time till Disney enters Warner Brothers bidding? I don't think it is. I think we talked about that before.
I don't think so at all.
I think Disney has still got a lot of debt from buying, Fox, so they don't have the money to spare. And if they were to get into it, they would get into it for very specific pieces of the pie. And those pieces, I think, Warner Brothers probably wants to package up together into a larger pie than what Disney is able to afford. So I just don't think that will be the case. But with that in mind, let's dive into the first of many things of news that we got from the world of DC today. Over the weekend, of course, I mentioned it was Halloween, right? So Asher Angel, who, of course, I think we actually put him in the Nightwing fan casting not that long ago, if I remember correctly.
I saw the fan casting, and I'm like, you know what? He's perfect. I'm just going to throw him in there.
And yeah, I mean, and he was on the thumbnail, if I remember. So he put up a cryptic post, quote unquote, on social media over the weekend. Of course, he was in Shazam. He's all grown up now. He does not look like a young boy anymore. He's not a teenager anymore, certainly, because here you go. He posted this. Clearly, it looks like from a Halloween party of some kind, where some dude had a Nightwing shirt on, and Asher's like, "Good night," and clearly showing off the work that he's been putting at the gym, wearing that shirt. He's pointing at the logo. I wonder what that means, John. Does that mean Asher wants to smoke? Does he want to be Dick Grayson? Does he want to play Nightwing? Or, I mean, he's mentioned this before, I believe, too, right?
I think he wants it. We want it. Let's see if James Gunn wants it. Or if Shazam did not suck. I understand Fury of the Gods. Maybe people thought that sucked, but the first Shazam was excellent. I really liked Fury of the Gods. I think it was a great movie, but I'm just saying. I think this is good shit. It's good shit.
It is. I think he would make for a good Nightwing. I just don't know if they're far enough into the process with that new Batman Brave and the Bold to even consider casting a Nightwing. Plus, remember, James Gunn also mentioned that the script for that movie has gone through significant changes. Like, the story has changed. So I don't even know. I mean, they haven't said anything about like Damian Wayne not being in the story anymore, but I just don't know how many other members of the Bat family will be involved, and that might mean no Nightwing for us. So I just don't know. But I mean, just on principle, I think he's got the goods in terms of the resume, the acting chops, certainly got the look, and he's also the right age, and he's got the muscles. So Asher Angel as a Nightwing could potentially work really, really well. So you guys let us know in the comments what you think about that. Obviously he's interested in the role, but does that mean James Gunn, like you said, John, is interested? I guess we'll find out. But the next thing we got to get into here, something similar, talking about maybe another actor putting their name in in the hat. This time around, of course, we've got Ariana Greenblatt.
Yeah, what are you
who
gonna
was
say
most
about
recently...
it? Figure drawing, huh? What are you gonna fucking say about it, huh?
But yeah, she was in the Barbie movie, Ariana Greenblatt, and yeah, thank you, Mercat. Now that was the thumbnail is perfect, isn't it? But she, of course, was also in Ahsoka. She plays the young Ahsoka in that show, which is coming back for another season.
She was in the god awful
She recently revealed which Batman
movie.
and Teen Titans characters she wants to play. She was. We'd like to forget that. I think everybody in that movie would like to forget they were a part of that movie. But, John, Ariana Greenblatt in the DCU, she's just told us which Batman or Teen Titans character she would like to play. Why don't we go down and take a look at what she had to say here?
It's Catwoman. And
because
no.
Huh? It's Catwoman. She's only 18, but you know what? I mean, I guess if you're going the whole Gotham route with a younger Catwoman, I suppose you can't go wrong.
He also
with that.
said
maybe,
Raven.
Maybe it's more.
I could see Raven. It's just Catwoman. She's way too young. She's way too young for right now, especially with the DCU type. I would say stick with like Teen Titans stuff. Raven, I think, would be good.
I mean, she also said she would like to play Beast Boy, which
Smith
I guess
said he wanted to be
girl. I don't know how that would work.
Well, Kevin Smith said he wanted to be Beast Boy. That's what he's saying. And then she, in commenting on that, she said, "I'll be Raven." That's what
I see. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. I totally misread that. I don't know why they put.
That's
those
what I thought
together
at first. I was just like,
but
huh?
anyway.
And then I said, and then it says Smith as in Kevin Smith. So yeah.
Well, we know that Ana Negreira is still somewhere in the process of writing a potential Teen Titans script. John, do you think there's any chance that we get a Raven in that group? And then maybe if they're going for a younger team, Ariana Greenblatt could play an 18. Like most of the Teen Titans, I mean, they're meant to be teens. She's 18 years old. Like I think it would be a good fit. No?
Yeah, I think so. It's just, I don't know if they want to do Raven. I don't know if they want to do new Teen Titans because, like, I feel like that's the way that Teen Titans has been adapted for years and years. And not saying that it's bad because, like, that's the team that it's Robin / Nightwing, Beast Boy, Cyborg, Starfire, and Raven. Those are the Teen Titans, and not just because of the anime show, but like those were the main Teen Titans for years and years and years. And yes, they got additional people, but like I think it would be kind of interesting. I don't know how they're gonna do it because we don't know. We don't even know if Damian Wayne is part of the new Brave and the Bold movie, so we don't know if he's gonna be the Robin or if like Tim Drake is gonna be the Robin, or they're just gonna fucking go way back to the beginning and just say fuck it, Dick Grayson's the Robin. So obviously we'll have to wait and see, but I can see them if they still are on track to do Damian Wayne. I could see them maybe like Dick Grayson had like Wonder Girl, Kid Flash, Aqualad, and him as the original Teen Titans, and then they're gonna have Damian Wayne's Teen Titans be like more of the Teen Titans we know and love. So we'll see because I know him and Raven had a thing in the DC AMU, the animated universe.
Yeah.
So I can see it like kind of working with that, but who knows? Because now we're not sure if like Damian Wayne is part of this shit now. So yeah. Obviously we'll have to wait and see in regards to that. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. So
well,
I guess you gotta try as well.
It doesn't look. I think at the end of the day,
honestly, yes. Give me that movie. Fuck yes.
Great comment. I was just gonna say though, it's always good to see that you've got like some of the best talent going in the business right now interested in DC, because we have heard over the years many of people be like, I want to be in the next Marvel movie. Well, it's a credit to James Gunn and what he has done recently to raise the profile of DC, that a lot of these actors want to be in there. Now, I'm not saying that wasn't the case before. Obviously, they had like, you know, some really high caliber actors in the DCEU. Mark Strong, you had Ben Affleck, and many others, like Amy Adams is an, you know, Oscar-winning actress in her own right. So like you had many, you know, great actors part of the DC universe before it was a DCU. But again, you know, as far as casting somebody who's young and could play these roles for years to come, both Asher Angel and Ariana Greenblatt could be great fits in the new DCU, and I wouldn't mind seeing James Gunn consider them. So, but hey, speaking of potentially great fits in the DCU, John, the next story we're gonna get into is one where, well, a lot of people have already been fan casting her, and she certainly would look the part. We've already seen her in the DCEU, but would she be a good part of the DCU? Grace Caroline Curry.
Speaking of Shazam stars as other heroes, boom, there we go.
Of course, I think she's expressed interest. A lot of fans have expressed interest in her playing the role, and then we recently got some fan art here of basically Grace Caroline Curry as an Alex Ross inspired version of Wonder Woman, John. And this looks pretty convincing to me. Like, I could easily watch her kick some Amazonian butt, or I don't know, like whichever era she's a part of, whatever war she's fighting, or fighting alongside the Justice League. She's the right age. She's got the build. I mean, just watch the second movie in the Shazam series, and as far as the suit goes, I'm not 100% convinced with this again, because this particular version of the suit, I think, I don't know, like I feel like it's a little too racy for a PG-13 movie. But then again, I mean, you know, honestly, it works in the comics, and if James Gunn wants to stick with it exactly the way that it is, then sure. I mean, I know a lot of you guys will love it. I'm not as convinced by this costume as I am. I think the Gal Gadot version of the Wonder Woman costume was pretty damn good, but it was obviously the colors were a little more muted. This one, you can see the colors are much brighter, and, you know, much more prominent. But this is great artwork, John. Is it convincing enough? Because not only do we have this in the article, there's actually a few other actors that the same artist drew out as playing Wonder Woman, so we can maybe
they did Sarah Pigeon, Melissa Benoist. I can't see that. Sorry, to attach to Supergirl. And then Anna Maria Valiolame. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that, but I will say I don't really like any of these. I like this one. I like the bright colors. I like the vibe. It's just, this looks too much like Gal. I hate the new 52 look with the sleeves.
I don't mind the Gal Gadot one.
And it's just like, these just look too dark. Like, I want to see some lighter stuff. Like, I like the lighter blue and the lighter red rather than like maroon and navy blue and that kind of thing.
I love the absolute Wonder Woman fit, by the way. I would love it if they just took that and brought that as the next live action version.
Just without like the tattoos and the cloud John. Sword, you know.
It's Melissa Benoist. It's not. I don't know. Is it Benoist? Because I know does she say
Benoist?
Has said
Benoist. She has said it. Hi, I'm Melissa Benoist. So that's how I pronounce it.
There you go. I think Benoist would be if there wasn't an S. There's actually an S in there before the T.
To be fair, it's French, and the French are like, yeah, that doesn't matter. Like, you know, it's like, oh, these letters in there, just chuck them in there, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I think as far as which character, DC character would have the best roller coaster, probably Harley Quinn, because, like, you know, if you want to just be on a crazy wild ride, that's probably Harley
Joker
Quinn
and
for
Superman already have their.
You know what? Alexandra Daddario as Wonder Woman. We talked about it on Friday. That's true. At Six Flags, right? But anyway, Hunter Iggy. We did talk about Alexandra Daddario as Wonder Woman on Friday. I think she would be great. She has got the look for it. I just don't know. I don't know if she's got the acting chops to pull off her own franchise. But then again, Gal Gadot was able to do 2 movies, and for the most part, I think it was pretty good. The first movie made a lot of money, and the second one, we don't talk about that.
I might have had her in one of the fan castings we did.
Melissa Barrera,
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I think
I think she would be okay.
At this point, I think Wonder Woman as a fan casting we have to do again, because it's just come up so many times. that we have to give it another, because especially I don't think we have done it on a fan cast Friday, so I think we will
Yeah,
definitely look into
so
that.
I can go back to
Um,
when we fan casted her,
mhm.
and like kind of bring in the best of like because we did a lot of them. So I'm like, because I would bring in some of my favorites. That's got to be like a 10-person list. I feel because like I've seen so many people being like, this is another one, this is another one, this is another one. So like honestly, like yeah, I think there's a lot of really good ones, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and to answer your question, acres of movies, James Gunn is working with a seasoned producer. Like Peter Safran is as seasoned as producers come in Hollywood. So, but I'm sure there'll be others who will be involved. I mean, I think you've already got a bunch of other ones that are part of a lot of these bigger characters, like Batman. Michael Uslan, like I think, has to be involved in every Batman movie or whatever. But anyway, Alexandra Daddario, I'm sure could hit the gym if she needed to. I'm sure any of them, like she was in the Baywatch movie. She looked fantastic. Like all of these I think all of these would be good fits. I personally, I know that you're not a big fan. I like the Melissa Benoist version of this costume. I don't mind the sleeves at all. I know the colors are more muted here. I think the brighter colors from that other Grace Caroline Curry version of the costume would be pretty cool to see that. It just would depend again on what version of Wonder Woman they're talking about or showing off, because it's that thing.
Oof.
Hey Caleb, I don't know, like we were it depends on what your priorities are, I guess. But as far as the Wonder Woman costume goes, I know in the DCEU they wanted to showcase a Wonder Woman that was, from basically her origin was from World War One, even though like, it's not like the time period was her origin. That's where we first saw her. So the production design,
because it was originally
sort of
World War
matching
II,
that. So,
but they couldn't do that because it was too much like Captain America. So
yeah.
They did World War One. Although I think
I
Zack
don't
Snyder
care.
wanted
I don't
to do the
mind.
Crimean War.
Yeah, well, but that was probably going to be too specific, and in hindsight would have other problems now because it would be politicized. But yeah, I think Wonder Woman, the first movie, was pretty gosh darn good, and I like movie set in World War One, which you don't get very much of these days. But that Wonder Woman, then they had to make the transition to the present day. So I guess it would depend on what that story is that's being told around the character, and then that will probably determine the costume. I don't think we're going back to the Linda Carter look anytime soon, because you want to make it look like something that's worthy of the big screen, where it's going to be its own franchise, but also then be able to cross over with
Honestly,
Justice
but to be
League.
fair,
So,
nothing is as bad as the Adrian Palicki one of the 2011 pilot. We don't talk about that one. It looks like a gimp suit.
although Adrian Palicki, I would love to see as Wonder Woman. I think at this point, maybe she's not the profile of actress they're looking for at this point in time, but she could have made a great Wonder Woman. The costume was terrible. I wholly agree the costume was terrible, but she was definitely a good pick for the role.
She's 42.
But
I mean,
hey, Grace Caroline.
I mean, she looks half that, so it's
she could do it.
Yeah,
she could do it. Like I said, I mean, I think when I say the profile of actress, I think it's more so. But then again, I was gonna be like, she's maybe not a big enough a name, but was Gal Gadot a big name? No, it's just I think you just need to have the right story, the right director, and then the casting director and the people. If it's a good fit, it doesn't matter if you haven't done it. Like David Cornsweet had done just shows on Netflix and HBO, and then of course he was part of the Twisters sequel. But yeah, I think Grace Caroline Curry could do a good job. I personally think Melissa Benoist could do a good job. I'm not as attached to her playing Supergirl. I can work past that. Melissa Barrera could be a good one. I think we'll do a proper fan casting for this and give you the pros and cons and how likely it is. So we'll get into that. And a lot of these women are tall. I mean, as far as women go, you don't need a 6'6" Wonder Woman. I mean, Gal Gadot is not as tall as Ben Affleck, but she's basically like around Henry Cavill's height. So I think that worked out well. Plus, they can give her a bit of a boost, like the boots. You don't need to show that; it could easily work out. Gal proved that Wonder Woman doesn't need to act well. Wonder Woman just needs to be pretty, basically calming. No, it's not just about being pretty. In fact, that's not the reason why Gal Gadot was hired. I think Gal Gadot was brought in because she could do the physicality of the role. Also, you're not going to have somebody be like, a thick Wonder Woman. Like, and you don't need somebody to pack on, and have 20-inch pythons, the kind of muscle that you expect from, absolute Wonder Woman. Like, you want to have somebody who can do the physicality part of the role. When I say the physicality part, like, you need to look the part, and you need to be able to move like a superhero, and you need to be able to put some muscle on, have the frame, and let's say the height. 5'10" Gal Gadot is, much, taller than the average woman, at least in North America, that is. Hello, Lex. We haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back to the show. But yeah, there's many good options out here. Will we get Wonder Woman's half-sibling brothers? I have no idea. I think it's too early to tell any of those things. But yeah, if you're going to set the priority of like it needs to be 5'10", 5'11" as one of the requirements, you're just cutting out a lot of people who might be great fits. Megan Gill could be a good one. But
she was going to be Wonder Woman in, she was going to be in the Justice League Mortal movie.
Yeah. Past her time. I wouldn't, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Gal Gadot back.
Just saying, Katie O'Brien would be perfect. She's jacked. She's not super tall, but she knows a lot of fighting styles, and she's very beautiful. So it all works, I think. No, I think it's the softer side of Wonder Woman. I don't know if Katie O'Brien can pull off. That's the only thing I worry about, because this is the thing. Wonder Woman has that superhero look, the physique. Clearly she can kick some serious ass. But she's also an idol for, young girls and guys and all the like. And, well, it's like, this is the thing. Gal Gadot, lover or hater, I think her iteration of Wonder Woman, she clearly pulled off all of those aspects of the character. And I think that's where Katie O'Brien, can she pull off the part of the character that is a role model and somebody who can have a conversation and smile and make a little girl laugh, stuff like that, which again, it feels like nitpicking, because for all we know, that's not going to be in any of the movies, but maybe it is. It just depends again on what the directors and the filmmakers want. And that's where Linda Carter again was perfect, because she did have all of those, facets to her character, like the one that she portrayed. She was clearly, somebody who could portray a strong superhero, a strong female superhero, but at the same time, somebody who had a softer side to her in terms of her character. And yeah, I think that's what made her, and even to this day, probably the perfect Wonder Woman. I love the fact that they introduced her into the DCEU. Too bad we're never going to probably get to see her play that character she was introduced as in Wonder Woman 1984, but she was also in Supergirl, so she's clearly very much involved with DC. I would love to see if Linda Carter can come back in some capacity in the new DCU. But with that, John, now we dive into what we're going to call some DC quick hits before we get into some of the Zack Snyder stuff. So let's dive into these and get through this a little bit faster, because there's not as much meat on the bone as we like to call it, but there is news. So Absolute Wonder Woman writer revealed a new look at Absolute Universe's unique take on Zatanna. This, of course, was from Kelly Thompson, who's one of the Absolute Wonder Woman writers. Look, it's gonna be debuting in the upcoming issue number 16 of Absolute Wonder Woman. So we're gonna get to see Zatanna. You see that right there. Her look is it's very absolute, John. What do you make of the face mask though? Because I know we have seen this image before, but if you scroll back up to the image with it looks like a Bane. I think she's in prison.
I don't quite understand what's going on here. Do you care to?
And in order to, I think what it is, it stops her from speaking, because that's how she has her powers, is that she says spells and stuff happens. So I think the face mask is I think she's imprisoned, and they use the mask to have her not use her powers, essentially.
Yeah. It makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense. Yeah. Well, someone check Paul Dini's Peacemaker. Okay, let's keep on going. Next quick hit, please. We go from the Absolute Universe.
Well, we go from Absolute Zatanna to Absolute Harley Quinn, apparently, and it just looks like Emma Corrin. So I don't know if that is anything with diamonds on her face. So
it's kind of so. This look of Harley Quinn looks, I guess you could say, it's closer to the Lady Gaga iteration of Harley Quinn than it is to the Margot Robbie iteration. Very edgy, like Caleb was pointing out. So, John, your thoughts on this look?
I don't like Harley Quinn, and I hate this design even more. So it just looks so like as Caleb said, it's just so edgy.
Darby
It's
Allin.
just like, oh, look at she has a buzz cut. She's wearing like a thick sweater thing. She's got nunchucks. Ooh, it's all right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced by this. I guess the story ultimately, takes precedence. I don't know how to train a Wonder Woman. Acres of movies, Stacy. I don't think I would be the one you would want to hire for that. But I'm sure they will hire people much more capable than me. She's not a punk rocker, Caleb says. All right, let's keep on going. The Batman Part 2 or the Batman 2, we just found out that they have hired a production designer for the movie, and it's somebody who's no joke, John, because Luke Hull is joining up the Batman 2 as a production designer, and this man has done some really good shit before, because he was a production designer on Andor and Chernobyl, two of the best period TV shows in the history of television period of the 21st century. Like between Chernobyl and Andor, they're two of the best shows in terms, especially genre shows. Even I don't know if you want to call Chernobyl a genre show, but like it's perfect. Like I feel like this is one of the best hires they can make and one of the most underrated, because if Gotham was already a living, breathing character in the first movie, I can't imagine what this guy's gonna come in. I can't imagine what Luke Hull is gonna do, because what he did on like creating the worlds that they did in Andor and Chernobyl, recreating a real life environments. I can't wait to see, what he's gonna do with the Batman Part 2. I mean, we already got Colin Farrell being the best goddamn hype man for the movie, calling the script a masterwork. You keep scrolling through these, and that's not the only thing he's called it. He's like, it's a contemporary genre masterwork. It's brilliant. Robert's got such a lovely journey to go on and to take the audience through. Right. I just saw, by the way, A Ballad of a Small Player. Very, very eccentric movie. But Colin Farrell, of course, did a wonderful job. I couldn't tell how much of he did in the movie. He kind of hallucinates a part of the film. His character does. But anyway, hey Johnny. But John, your thoughts on this? Between the production designer announcement, Colin Farrell talking so highly of the movie, literally every time he's asked about it.
Script sucks. Like, come on, what the fuck is it gonna? Oh yeah, I read it. Fucking blows. Be afraid. Like, hello. Like, come on.
Yeah, and he keeps saying, I'm only in like 5 or 6 scenes. My role is not as big as the last one, but like he has nothing but good things to say about. He's gonna make an extraordinary film. He says for Matt Reeves, it's going to be a modern, contemporary genre masterwork. Those are some high praise. So I can't wait to see if this actually turns into one of those situations where the first Batman, the Batman, I remember the producer was hyping it up like this is better than The Dark Knight, and that almost turned me off from the movie. Like it took me a few months to watch it a second time to really be like, okay, this is actually the best movie since The Dark Knight, but it's like I feel like they overdid it.
It's too much hype. Like, oh yeah. It's like, all right, now, whoa,
exactly.
Okay, calm down.
Just let the movie do the talking. And I feel like it's just one of those things where there's been so much empty space around this movie, just being like, oh, it's happening. You're working on the script, and now like James Gunn is like here doing the 6th draft of his movie while doing storyboards and going in production in the same literal month as Matt Reeves is doing, as a sequel to a movie that James, for example, James Gunn just had Superman come out this year, and he's going to be filming the next one in April of 2026, less than a year before, after Superman comes out. Meanwhile, Matt Reeves is taking 4 or 5 years to work on a sequel. I'm like, it's just a lot of time. And at this point, in absence of news, this is what we got to work with. So, but at least the production designer news is good. So I'm happy about that. Like that, they got Luke Hull is going to do a great job. I can't wait. And we'll talk about Man of Tomorrow in a lot more.
Well, we're talking about the
speaking of which,
Superman now.
Yeah, but I'm sure we're gonna get Crypto in Supergirl. At this point, we know that we're gonna get probably Crypto in Man of Tomorrow. But this was a clip. This is interesting, John, because this is completely CG, right? It's not AI.
Definitely not
James Gunn
AI.
confirmed.
James gonna say, and it
But
looks
it's kind of
pretty
impressive.
realistic. Like you
'Cause
can kind of
it
tell
looks
a little bit
photoreal.
that he's fake, but like it's still for the most part you could tell he's real.
I think it's maybe the movement of the hair, like maybe it comes across a little lighter.
I'm just
than
gonna
maybe you
leave it
would
on that
expect a
point
dog.
right there, just like him looking like he's taking a poopy. So just gonna leave it right there. Perfect.
Yep. Like, I wonder if the cat is real, and then they just replaced Ozu with Crypto, or like I
No,
don't
he
know
said the
if
cats
all
are. I
of it
mean, he
is
said
CG.
playing with my cat, so
Okay,
the
so
cat might be real.
it's
so.
convincing. I mean, honestly, the first time I saw this without the context of this being like a VFX test shot, I thought this was completely real. I was like, wait a second. So I was convinced, and I'm sure a lot of other people were too. This is impressive. I like it. I like it. I can't wait to see what else to do with Crypto. I feel like they nailed it so well the first time around.
Well, speaking
now
of
it's just
good
the expectation
dogs,
just rises.
Henry
Cavill's got a Crypto of his own. His dog Cal, who, of course, Henry Cavill has said on multiple occasions, saved his life. And right now he's on the mend, of course, from his injury filming Highlander. And I'm sure Cal is keeping him company, John. The Man of Steel needs a dog of steel, and Henry Cavill's got a Crypto of his own, who's so cute.
This looks
That's
like the
such a cute
cutest
dog.
photo bomb ever.
It's just the tongue is hanging out. It's amazing. I love it. Yeah. This is wonderful. That's what you like to see. Love to see.
And then James Gunn, saying he's not teasing,
Yes,
but
he
people are
does.
gonna fucking say he's teasing. So
well, this was one of the things that we teased in the thumbnail, John. So let's talk about it. Recently, James Gunn, as you can see here on screen, went online and wanted to address all the speculation around Brainiac. And well, he's done all these, interviews recently. We need to talk about Brainiac, and this was one of the videos that from one of the other channels on YouTube that he likes to follow. So he added to the discourse a little bit, saying, great video. First of all, complimenting the video itself, saying, yes, the Brainiac stuff is cool. Don't read too much into that part of me reposting that video. But what I love is Jenna Lynn talking about fandom flanderization. Ooh, that's a Simpsons term. And how many fans believe some aspect of a character is the only true version, usually dependent on when they first came upon the stories. Think Yellow Oval on Batman's chest, all-powerful Superman, Wonder Woman made from clay, and how that potentially diminishes our enjoyment of stories outside of what we expect. So James Gunn basically telling us, look, I don't like the idea, and this is James Gunn. I guess you could say I'm paraphrasing what he said there. He doesn't like the idea that that fans like to get stuck on this one particular definitive edition of a character, because in the comics, these characters evolve over time with the new writers, new series, and there's so many different versions. Just Wonder Woman alone, we just talked about for like 10 minutes. So John, I know there's speculation. We've talked about it. Brainiac could be the villain of Man of Tomorrow. He could not. Maybe he's not. I mean, he could be showing up somewhere else in the DCU. Maybe James Gunn has plans for him already. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just thinks he's a cool character. But the fact that he is responding to this video, which again, great video from Jenna Lynn, and it's a popular YouTube channel. James Gunn obviously watches them, and he's addressing Brainiac here. What do you think this means in terms of the Brainiac's future in the DCU? But also, what do you think about James Gunn's take on the idea that there isn't only like a true version of the character, because characters change over time, their looks, their powers, their origin stories, whether it's small details or big ones. It's just, you can't just think of one particular edition as a definitive. Like, that could be an opinion, but that doesn't mean like you can put down other people because they like a different version of the character.
The thing is, there is so much you can say about that, because it's like, it's one thing of like, Superman can only leap from tall buildings, be faster than speeding bullets, and more powerful than a locomotive, and that's it. That's the only way you can see the character. Sure, obviously that's wrong because he's evolved since then. But at the same time, like saying that, Wonder Woman's made of clay, it's like that's literally her origin. Like, she has one other origin, and that she's a demigod, and Zeus's daughter, and it's like,
The one
Not
we
a
got
lot
in
of
the
people
DCU
like that
too. Yeah.
origin. Most people like the Clay origin because it worked and that was like the character. So like equating that to like, oh, Batman's symbol is very it is very not good in my eyes. Like it's very like hollow to me. It's like you're comparing two very different it's like one is an aesthetic choice and one is literally the thing that has built the character. Like that was literally the definitive character until 2011. From the 1940 whatever to 2011, for almost 70 years, that's who Wonder Woman was, and it would be wrong to say anything but that unless it's an Elseworld story. So that is wrong. That is 100% wrong. So, and the thing is, there's also like the idea of like, you know, there are some things that are wrong. Like if fucking, you know, Superman picked up a machine gun and like just started mowing down criminals like Punisher, yeah, that's wrong. That is wrong because that's not the character. You know, Superman snapping Zod's neck for no reason. That's, you know, that's people could say that's wrong about the character. And, you know, it's just like there are things that you can do with these characters that are wrong. Sure, there are people that are like, oh, only the John Byrne version of Superman is the definitive version and everything else doesn't matter. Yeah, I could see like saying that's wrong. But like, it's, you know, it's one of, I'm a man. Yeah, that fucking storyline. And that was also an Elseworld story. But like, you know, and I'm not talking about Elseworld stories. I'm talking about mainline continuity because that is definitive. And I think there are certain things you shouldn't do with characters. I think there should be like bullet point guidelines of like Superman does maybe like 5 or 6 things that shouldn't be fucked with, and then you can interpret things the way you want to. But I don't think James Gunn is wholly right here, but I don't agree like with what other people said. So there is the idea of like only thinking one part of the character is true. That's why I've kind of been a little more open. Like I don't like Zack Snyder's portrayal of Superman or Batman. His Wonder Woman's okay, but like for the most part, like I don't like those iterations of characters, but like the thing is I'm starting to believe in like the whole thing of like everything is canon kind of thing, like everything works with the character because it there is a certain like I'm trying to find a right way to word this, but it's sort of like again, I'm trying to, you know, I don't know. It's just like I feel like there's more discussion here. I feel like there's more discussion here, and I
Well,
think James Gunn is oversimplifying it to the point where it's also not good here. And I think there are certain things that take away certain aspects of characters. Like I don't think Batman should kill people, yet every iteration of the character until the Robert Pattinson version on film, and maybe the exception of Adam West, is it has him killing people. And it has him using guns and has him like doing all these things that he's not supposed to do in these movies, and he does them anyway because whatever reason, you know, it does have like Superman snapping necks. It does have Wonder Woman, you know, being like a sex object. Like it's there's a lot of different things that you could say are not the character, but it's just like this is just too much of an oversimplification, I think. I think there is a broader discussion here
well,
on
no,
how
but I think
it should be viewed, and I don't think the way James Gunn went about this was correct. I think this was a very wrong way to view this because if you look in the comments like below, exactly like this person says you have an incredibly poor misunderstanding of Wonder Woman. people saying, "Oh, I never liked Wonder Woman much anyway," and a lot of people are saying, that's also
Oh,
not
and then James Gunn actually responded to one of the comments.
yeah. You know, looks like a shot from the movie. Okay, that's funny. And then I saw an old clip where he tried to talk about a Toxic Avenger remake, and he said no. But it's just like
Look,
exactly.
Look, I'm on the side of James Gunn. I don't think he's trying to be too broad in what he's saying. Like, he's mentioning, look, he's saying this idea. I think he's trying to address the idea that a lot of fans get stuck on. There's this one true version of the character, and whether it's Wonder Woman's origin story or anything else, like throughout the history of the comics, that has changed over time. I think it depends on the perspective of, okay, so there's a mainline story and then there's these Elseworld stories, but like it also depends on, again, which version they're adapting, because when it comes time for them to make a Wonder Woman movie, they can borrow, like, for example, the Gal Gadot version of Wonder Woman wasn't like the New 52 version and only that. It borrowed elements from many different iterations, and so while it borrowed one origin story, it borrowed the look from elsewhere, then it kind of like mixed in some other elements and that were completely original. That's how these movies are usually made. They're adaptations. And as far as something like, killing, yeah, I mean, like in Enterprising, mentioning in Nolan's Batman didn't go out, he went out of his way a lot of times to not kill people. I mean, in The Dark Knight Rises, he says like no guns, no killing the Catwoman specifically, but again, he kind of works his way around that before in the Batman Begins. We've talked about that many a times. But somebody like a Superman, I'm not surprised that James Gunn is sort of leaving that a bit open. Just some geeky guy asking about, like, does that take away from him being a beacon of hope? I think it all depends on how you look at these characters and what version of the story you're trying to tell. If you're trying to make these characters more idyllic, like, heroes that we look up to in a world that feels a little more simplified and more comic booky, but less realistic in a manner of speaking, because in the real world there's a lot more nuance to everything. And I think that's where Man of Steel and even Batman v Superman did a great job of showing Superman truly in a real world, whether it's he's praised, like he's loved by the folks at the Day of the Dead celebration where he shows up.
Fucking Ra's al Ghul. I'm just gonna say that.
But then, like, at the same time, like, Superman is hated by a lot of people who are like, he's overstepping his authority. You can tell James Gunn is not that far off, like, the viewpoint that Zack Snyder was trying to portray based on the story of Superman, where he's reviled for, like, overstepping boundaries and taking part in, international affairs where nation states are trying to, figure things out, and where does Superman fit in that picture. Both James Gunn and of course Zack Snyder tried to tell a story around that. Not to mention Quest for Peace back in the 80s. Like, not saying it was a bad movie, not saying it was a good movie, but like, regardless of what you think about those Christopher Reeve movies, even they question the idea of where does Superman fit into all of this. We've seen that in the comics. I think it depends. Again, like, James Gunn's Superman is clearly a version of the character that feels much more simplified, and I'm not saying like he is a very fleshed out character, but like it's looking at it from a different perspective than what Zack Snyder was doing. Zack Snyder was looking at them like these are these like all powerful gods, and like, then how do they exist in the world of humans? And like, I think at sometimes it was too melodramatic with the dialogue and stuff, like, and I think it was a little too on the nose. But what they were trying to do, I understood. And so Superman killing Zod, because in that particular moment it was, the unavoidable thing, because he was either that, and I think a lot of people are like, oh yeah, because he would have killed those people in the train station. No, I think Zod was like, if you leave me alive, I will kill other humans as long as I'm, alive. So deal with me now, or just, you're going to be responsible for everybody that I'm going to kill whenever I escape from prison and all of those other things. So yeah, sorry, the Quest for Peace was a bad movie, but anyway, I'm talking about the ideas that they tried to tackle. The execution is one thing, but yeah, there's like you said, John, obviously a lot more nuance to this. I just think what James Gunn is trying to say here is there isn't one true iteration of a character, because even the iterations that have been around for decades have been, tinkered with and changed over time, and there's little variables that change. Plus, also, we're not talking about the comics in this instance. I think, well, if you're talking about the comics specifically, that's one thing, but also if you're talking about adapting them for the screen, whether it's the big screen, the small screen, those are two different things because you're adapting them. So the filmmaker can go in and literally pick and choose the parts they want. It's rare. I don't think I can think of a single comic book movie that's a live action comic book movie that directly adapted a story from the comics, like word for word. Like animated movies are one thing, but animated movies are watched by far fewer people we all know than the live action stuff. So it's the audience that they're designed for is the hardcore audience that's gonna go seek that stuff out because they want to see that comic book come to life in an animated form. Whereas like these movies, I mean, it's at the end of the day a business. You want to appeal to a wider audience. So now we're getting sidetracked, but the point is, like you said, there's a lot more nuance to it. However, I do agree with James Gunn's take, that whole flanderization idea, that there's this one true version and you can't do any other version because the comics do it all the time. So I mean, if they don't want to do it for the movies, it's you're not meant to take what was in the comics, and it's an adaptation. It's the word adaptation that I hold on to.
Yeah.
So
I just think it's a broader discussion. I think longer than the time we have here. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Tom Mellon's here. Did kill people. Yeah. So let's keep on going here. I believe we have a few more things to talk about from the world of DC. All right, so then I think we're getting back into the quick hits a little bit here. So let's keep on going here. Jon Stewart's powers are based on creativity, while Hal Jordan's are just about him just wanting to hit everything with a big green fist. This comes to us, I believe. Was this Tom King talking about it?
It was Chris Mundy.
Chris Mundy from the Lantern Show, talking about how Jon Stewart gives a shit, whereas I guess Hal Jordan just wants to hit everything with a big green fist. What do you think, John?
So, any hope I had for this show is gone now. Any hope I had for this show is gone. I don't think this is going to be a good show anymore. It'll be a good, like, True Detective with superheroes show, but it won't be a Green Lantern show. Because this is not... This is literally the most basic misunderstanding of these characters. Like, you are literally getting the most basic fucking shit wrong. You're like Mark Guggenheim writing the wrong oath in the script that Ryan Reynolds had to fucking say something about it during that movie. That's what this is. You're literally getting characters wrong at the most basic possible level. Literally a 5-second Google search would have prevented this. So, okay, so you have Tom King, the man who literally has not done a good DC story while he has worked at DC. You have Damon Lindelof, who made Watchmen, which sucked to actual comic fans, and also ruined Lost. Now you have this guy who actually fucking made something good, and now you are at a place where you fucking don't, where you just straight up don't understand these characters. First off, Jon Stewart, his imagination in regards to construct are not based on creativity at all. They are based on logistics, engineering, precision, and guns, because he is a military guy and he is an architect. Because the imagination of these people, the upbringing of these people matters into how they make constructs. That is how Jon Stewart makes constructs. And the creativity thing, that's Kyle Rayner. Kyle Rayner is an artist, so his constructs are very creative. He has a broader artistic imagination. So you already got that wrong. So boom, already wrong. First off. Second, you are misunderstanding Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan is said to be the greatest Green Lantern of all time. He can be kind of like dumb jock levels a bit, but this is not him. This is, again, you are misunderstanding these characters, because he just wants to punch everything with a fist. That's Guy Gardner. That's dumb Guy Gardner. And we already have Guy Gardner in Superman. This is not Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan has kind of weirder, stranger, out there constructs, not necessarily creative, but shows things that showcase that he is the greatest Green Lantern because he is an out of the box thinker. He can be a bit dumb jock and like kind of do fist punching things, but Hal Jordan is more than that because he is a well-rounded character. He can do like big ornate things like boxing gloves and like that kind of thing, but and like scissors and like giant constructs, but like he's still out of the box thinker because he is the greatest Green Lantern of all time. These things that Chris Mundy is saying is a gross mischaracterization of both of these characters. And you're essentially just doing whatever the fuck you want with the sheen of lanterns overflowing in. So we are now at a point where the Avatar: The Last Airbender is, where the show was so bad to some people, it made the M. Night movie look good. That's where we are now, where I feel like to certain people, not everybody, certain people, this show will be so bad in terms of mischaracterization, it's going to make the Ryan Reynolds movie look good. That's where we are right now. And I wish I could be a little bit louder because I'm very angry right now, but it is almost 2:00 in the morning and I don't want to wake people up. So it is exactly. Jordan's constructs are driven by his willpower, lack of fear, and often things connected to his life. Like this man, Hal Jordan literally created a Green Lantern ring out of his own willpower. That is not a man that just wants to hit everything with a fist. That's, again, a gross mischaracterization of these people. Now, here's the thing. Now, it's entirely possible. It's still a well-written show. The mystery is interesting. It's good. It's whatever. But now we are... You're already... Now, it's entirely possible that you can backpedal and be like, no, I didn't mean it like that. I just meant like how Jon Stewart does things is different. You could have literally said Jon Stewart does things differently than how Jordan does them. And that's fair because every Green Lantern does things differently. Hal Jordan has these out of the box constructs. Jon Stewart is based on logistics and precision, and he does a lot of guns. He shoots a lot of guns. He was a military guy, so like that makes sense. Guy Gardner is he's big dumb guy that like kind of just does whatever to get the job done. Kyle Rayner has a broader imagination. He does things very creatively. Simon Baz kind of does like more gritty kind of constructs because he like had a lot of abuse in his life, so like he kind of does things like, again, kind of along the lines of Guy Gardner getting the job done. And then Jessica Cruz kind of has like a mix of like Kyle Rayner and Jon Stewart. Like she's a timid Green Lantern, but she still does things that's kind of out of the box, but at the same time kind of creative and imaginative. And it's just like, and yeah, thank you for the super chat. But it's just like, yeah, it's just exactly. It's just, yeah. Remember when Jack Black was considered garbage? Good times. It just, all right, bro. You didn't have to fucking go there. Come on, man, bruh. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do Kyle like that. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault, all right? Okay. But yeah, this sapped any sort of hope I had for the show because I'm like, oh, maybe Chris Mundy will be like, yes, let's make something good. And we can't even get that. We can't even get that. Because, well, the thing is, he said before, he's like, oh, when we had comic book questions, we went to Damon Lindelof and Tom King. It's like, all right, that was red flag number one because, you're going to probably the worst people for DC advice. First off, so now Chris Mundy, who probably doesn't know comics, went to people who are the worst possible people for comic book advice. So now he's probably getting all the wrong shit. And now we're getting crap like this. So it seems like Green Lanterns, we're not going to be getting any... we're not going to be getting any Green Lantern good Green Lantern media, I don't think. But hey, at least we still have Clayface. That's the one thing I'm excited for. Supergirl, I'm iffy. Maybe Anna Neguera can make shit heaped into gold, possibly, with Woman of Tomorrow. But I don't have any hope for Lanterns. This is going to be garbage. This is going to be terrible. Like, no, it seems like they got, well, because here's the thing: James Gunn, who actually fucking knows comics, was writing for fucking Guy Gardner. So, you know, like, maybe he it was a mischaracterization of certain things, but like, we got Guy Gardner. Like, he's the only like comic accurate Green Lantern we have. We still, well, I meant in terms of 2026, we have Clayface. So, that's the thing I'm excited for, because Mike Flanagan always hits, always great. So let's go. And James Watkins didn't love Speaking of Evil, but he's done good stuff. It's just like, when I read this, like, my heart fucking sank reading this, because you'd be like, oh, well, maybe they can do different things with the characters. Yeah, everything's up to interpretation. We just talked about that, like with the Flanderization and stuff like that. But when you get something so simple, so wrong, it builds upon your foundation. Is broken. Yeah, he would just have like them like snapping necks and like just like killing people. It just I mean, we almost got like, I feel like Wayne T. Carr, like that could have been interesting, but no, we couldn't get that. Yeah, I mean, Dan keeps saying that, like, oh, Guy is gonna die in Green Lanterns. Honestly, I think Hal is gonna fucking die at this point. And it's just no, they did. I'm just pulling your leg. It's fine. I mean, Jon Stewart literally committed genocide. It's fine. Like, you're good. It's again just pulling your leg. I think I mean, Zack Snyder would have 100% gotten the characters wrong, but that's beside the point. However, what he would have done them would have been terrible, but like, that's beside the point. This is just saddening. It makes me sad. It makes me angry. And it's just like, I feel like we're at a point where this shit should be easy. Like, just go to a store, your local corner store, and just fucking pick out a comic book. You can fucking go to DC Universe, pay $10 and get all the comics you want. Like, I think hell, if shit like in late stage superhero media, if shit like Madam Web can be made, I guess anything is possible. But like, this isn't Madam Web levels, because that doesn't even resemble the character. I mean, neither do these, but like, I just don't understand why there is this need to not be at least kind of accurate to these characters. Will I still watch it? Of course, I have to watch it for the show. Like, I'm gonna fucking watch it when we get there. I'm gonna watch it. But like, I'm just this is just sad. I'm not even angry. I am angry, but like, it's just saddening to see that these characters I love just not getting any sort of respect because you put the wrong people in charge. So, maybe there is the hope that, like, similar to Henry Cavill and Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill actually knows the character of Superman, so he tried to bleed in as much of the actual character in there, that maybe they can do this. That, like, Aaron Pierre knows the character, Kyle Chandler maybe knows the character, and they can bleed these things into these characters where Mundy, Lindelof, and King absolutely failed. Because that's 1%, and that's not an absolute certainty, Ben Affleck. It's a 1% chance that maybe this could be good, and that's as far. It's like, It's pretty much two steps from hell. Remember them? Like one step from pure crap. Yeah. I gotta see it. Enterprising. I gotta see a trailer. Like, I don't know. It's just like this. This is. I feel like to me, this is what Peacemaker season 2. This is my Peacemaker season 2. Whatever what it was to everybody else was like, oh, that sucked. This is bad. This is bad, and I know James Gunn put the wrong people in charge because for some reason he keeps ing fucking Tom King for some reason. I'm convinced that dude has blackmail. I mean, the dude worked for the CIA. So, like, I'm convinced that dude has blackmail on every person in the comic industry, and it's why he has not, like, fucking, you know, he's not fucked off or, like, been fired because, like, you know, like, I don't know. I'm just, I don't know. I'm just upset and I'm angry and not in the best mood to deal with this. So, like,
it's look, I will say that, like, I guess the one saving grace of this could be that this is Chris Mundy making one statement, and clearly, you know, the fans are letting him know online. So we'll see. I mean, they're still in post production on this. I don't know if they'll be doing any reshoots, but I can't imagine they're gonna change like the complete characterization of the two of the leads in the show. But
what theory are you talking about? I don't know if I mentioned a theory, but
no, I think you're talking about the blackmail thing.
Yeah.
At least
Jurassic. Honestly,
well,
I'll take
not if
Jurassic
Comcast
League over
buys
this shit. Like,
well, not if Comcast buys Warner Brothers Discovery, then that might actually happen. Yeah.
Oh,
well, look, I'm just gonna say,
okay.
I think,
like,
yeah. One of you guys mentioned you're gonna give it a shot, and well, thank you for the super chat, Justin B. Guy. We really do appreciate that. DCKO, I don't know.
Bad mood now.
DCKO, isn't that so? This is like a big crossover event, right? From what I understand, that's
it's
DCKO,
essentially
yeah,
a gigantic brawl, and Batman's already dead. So that's all I know.
Well, they're off
he didn't
to a
have
running
prep
start,
time,
then.
you know.
That there you go, there you go. Is there a fight to the death? I don't know. I can't. I haven't read into it enough to know that for sure. Sounds like it would be, I guess, because if Batman's already dead, then well, we'll see. James Gunn hasn't exactly saved DC yet. He's revived it.
I mean,
has he saved it? I don't know.
Here's the thing: he's saving it, but like I said, DC as a whole, just maybe not. Yeah, I miss Ryan Reynolds already. Yeah, his Hal wasn't Hal, but at least it was Guy, you know.
Well, we haven't gotten the show yet, so I'm willing to give it a fair shot. We'll see. Maybe you know, this is just mischaracterization on the part of Chris Mundy in terms of what the show actually gives us. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I personally am still excited for the show because we've been waiting for this thing for like a decade now, from when they first announced a Green Lantern anything post Ryan Reynolds. So
I mean, we're already getting that.
I will
Batman
wait and see what it
crossover. But...
Oof. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I understand
right,
Blue
well,
Lantern the situation, but I don't know about that.
But let's get into some other quick hits. We
have Bulge,
photos.
Guys. We have Bulge.
This is from the first.
Not that one. I didn't mean to click.
There's the shot right there. Now I'll zoom into this.
Okay. There it is. Boom.
Some early Bulge fittings at the first rehearsal, was it? And
Yeah.
you could clearly tell the suit is not tailored to David Cornsweat's body.
Yeah,
so
I will say I like the color of the left one on the left, but the one on the right is a little bit more fitted to him. But
I thought the one on the right is not fitted to. I feel like the one on the right feels a little less fitted. Are we flipping our lefts and rights? Because I feel like the one on the right where he's looking down feels less fitted than the one on the left, because you get to see around the torso area it's really loose. It just goes straight down.
I mean, it goes straight down, but I'm just saying I like the colors on the left a bit more, you know.
Yeah, it definitely got that Kingdom Come like sort of even All-Star Superman look, like where his
See, Trunks can be good. Just saying.
Well, but this particular suit works with the trunks. I think like the Man of Steel
Whoa.
Man of Steel suit works well without the trunks. Well, with 5,000 calories a day, I'm sure he had to, there was a lot of stools involved. But anyway, cool. This is a nice look at the early costume. You could tell like they went and did a lot of work on it leading up to the one that we actually ended up getting in the movie. Even the colors change a little bit. You can see the boots are loosely fitted, and it goes to show you that these suits don't come, one size fits all. They have to really fit them to the actor. And I remember David Cornsweet talking about, I think it was in his GQ interview at Men's Journal, whatever. He did one of these interviews, or Esquire, and he said like he had his fittings done, which sort of it was. I was like, in hindsight, like you don't even think these guys would know better, considering this is again late stage superhero media. We've been doing this for a while, guys, but like he did his fittings for the costume, and then he went and packed on like 20 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
And then he came back and they're like, the suit doesn't fit. I'm like, no shit, it doesn't fit. Why the hell did you do your, like, I don't understand how the costume department didn't think that it might not fit the same if it was,
I remember when they did padding for like the Deadpool suit.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds didn't even pack on muscle or anything, but he just put the suit on and he's like, I can't fit. Like, I can't fit in the suit. So they had to remove the padding, but that was just Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds,
Yeah. Yeah, Man of Steel, every time duty calls, so does nature.
This sounds like an Amy Schumer
I'm sure you can do better than that.
Bit. Like, ugh.
Look, I think the suit, at least the design of the suit didn't change much. You could tell, like, they just had... This is just clearly not a fit for him. Like, they had to get it fitted. But, yeah, I mean, it was good enough for him to do a rehearsal in. So, anyway, let's keep on going. Where are the rest of the parrots, ducks, and pelicans of DCU news?
But goddamn, I will say they still look good. Like they might look a little bit weird, but they still look good, mainly because we got that bulge. Hell yeah.
I mean, that just looks like it's just like a line going down the bowl. I wonder how comfortable that is.
Yeah, you're turning this into like a bad like SNL sketch. Like Jesus. No,
you could do literally. Let's drop it.
I'm seeing Brendan Fraser. Yeah, like definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
Especially on the right. On the right. Yeah. He's squinting hard enough. If you zoom into this,
hold on, let me.
It's a cup, John. You're being gaslit, says Enterprising. In Hans, we have a custom emoji for that. If you're a member on the channel, you can ask us.
Yeah, you can do that, but yeah. You gotta join. You gotta join.
I mean, also in the movie itself, you almost never see the suit as clean as this. It's always weathered by.
Bro fucking fell into the snow. He's getting beat up. It's charred. That kind of shit.
But you can clearly tell on the right side here, when he's looking down, like that suit is not fitted. Like it's super looser at the torso, which makes
it doesn't look loose about me. It loose to me, like it looks straight, like it looks, it's like
no, but it's not fitted. Like you can see on the left there, like it's more fitting. Thank you, John Dan to use stool. True justice in the bathroom way. Yeah, Man of Steel. That's not gonna go away anytime soon. Okay. Hey Lois, remember that time? Yeah, okay. All right, we're gonna move on to the next thing. Man of Steel. That one's gonna stick. We're gonna have to put that on.
Apparently, to the Girl of Steel, they will further clarify what the House of L is all about in the DCU. Oh boy. I'm really fucking curious how they're gonna fucking make this shit. Like, I love how I can just imagine the conversation like they actually had after this of like, hey Kara, I need to talk to you about something. They're like, she's like, what? Harem? And it's just like, okay.
Lois broke up with Man of Steel because he was full of himself. That's the best one yet.
No,
I
it's
think
not.
that one
Get outta
actually
here.
was good. That's actually you met the girl of Stool. Okay, all right. Well, I mean, if she has some bad chili, maybe. I will say this though, the whole clarify. This comes from I think what was it? Who's the actor? Who's playing Supergirl's father? David Krumholtz.
Yeah.
Was talking about this, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get to play this, character that's going to be able to kind of enlighten us on like what the House of L actually is all about." I mean, usually we'd be like, "Oh yes, that would be so great," but yeah, considering how things turned out in Superman, I don't know how they're gonna explain their way out of that, and how that's meant to be necessarily a positive. I mean, I guess we'll find out. We'll see. We'll see. Speaking of we'll see, John, we're also going to see Clayface soon, and it looks like now they have wrapped up production, which is good, because now it's all in the can, as they would say. So let's talk about that for a moment.
Definitely in the can for the Man of Steel.
Yep.
That's into that one. Now, Dan, you gotta make an emoji where it's like the poop emoji, but it has like the Superman crest for like an emoji on the channel. That Man of Steel is just gonna keep continuing to be an inside joke. Like you gotta do it now.
It's like this shit emoji, but it's upside down, so it still looks like a diamond, but it's got like an S on it. Like maybe it could be
that could work. That could work. I can see that.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like now he's gonna force everyone to have a scat fetish.
Yeah.
Where is this going?
I don't know. This is like we're almost 3 hours into it. I feel like that's where it's going.
So there is going to be full clarification, which obviously I feel like was obvious, because that's a huge thing, and it's just like, why didn't Supergirl tell him about it? Why is this thing? So it's like it's definitely it's definitely interesting. I thought he said Green Arrow Green Arrow was a furry. Who had the poop fit? I feel like somebody had a poop fetish, or was it Superman that had the poop fetish? Okay, no.
Oh no! It's supposed to be Guy Gardner.
No, he had the puke fetish.
Oh, the pube. Oh, okay. The puke or the pube fetish?
Puke, not puke.
Is it a K or
that would be base, but like puke, because he has a puke that I threw up on Magic Construct, and then I think he was into it.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, let's move on. Clayface has officially wrapped filming, guys. Let's not get rid of that stool talk. I mean, although he kind of looks turdish. Anyway, it looks like diarrhea.
Oh
a
no!
But Clayface.
Not just. I feel like I'm watching like Eddie Guerrero and Big Show in the early 2000s and all those sketches.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. This we started with like horny Halloween costumes. Now we're into poop shit. It's like I don't know where we're fucking going here.
Man of Steel. Oh no, Clayface is still hot. Well, I mean, not on.
Oh no,
the picture
hot.
on the right he isn't. Clayface is wrapped. See what they did there? Get it? His face is wrapped.
I can guarantee you when he shows up all damaged, #damaged, Caleb don't come. When his like face is all mixed up, I can guarantee you that specific Matt Hagen is gonna be on tons of hear me out cakes. Like I can guarantee it's like not the sexy Matt Hagen, but Matt Hagen with his face busted up. Hear me out. Like I can like guarantee it. Exactly. And I know you're fucking one of them, Elite Easy. I know you're one of them.
By the way, I don't think this is I think the makeup will probably get enhanced in post-production.
It is real makeup. It is real makeup.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh!
I don't know how this is going to.
Yeah. Matt Hagen is known for sending used condoms to his castmates.
Cool. Well, I was just gonna say this is something we knew about a while ago because Tom Rice Harris actually posted about it, saying that we're gonna be wrapping up this week,
Yeah.
and they did. So it's just now it's a little more tangible. They've got all the footage in the can. They're hopefully gonna be doing a lot of the post production and starting up in the next couple of weeks. And hopefully there's not gonna be a lot of reshoots. But even if there are, I mean, usually that's normal. So I'm looking forward to this. This has the potential to really, at a time when
This
we know
is the
superhero
only
movies.
DC movie next year I'm looking forward to.
Wait, you're not looking forward to Supergirl? I thought you were gonna.
Tom King, it has me worried. That's the thing.
Fair enough, but I was just gonna say, look, this has the potential to blow the doors wide open on the superhero genre in a new dimension that we haven't seen before. Because, like you said, we're in what you called the late stage superhero media, but we are in an era. At the beginning of the year, we were thinking this is the silver age of superhero movies. The golden age is over. The silver age is here. But Superman and Fantastic Four both underperformed, I think, a lot of people's expectations at the box office. Some of those expectations were probably wrongfully placed, considering where things are financially right now for Hollywood, at the movie theaters at least. But I think when superhero movies aren't able to be as profitable with budgets of $150, $200 million, if a movie like this comes out, which again, the first Joker movie did it. I mean, it was probably more of an exception to the rule, because we saw how bad the second one did. I mean, it was deservingly bad. But if James Gunn, Peter Safran can prove that they can make a movie like this, like Clayface, for $40 million odd, they can, I don't know, like put 10, 20 million in marketing, and then come out with a result like the Conjuring franchise, where they make $300 million on it or something to that effect, that will potentially open the door for a lot of other characters like a Zatanna. I don't know, Tim, like a Plastic Man, like the Question, like the Captain Atom, like these lesser known characters, where you're just not able to give them their own standalone movie unless they're tying into some other character that is much bigger. Obviously, like back in the heyday of the MCU, they could experiment a little bit more because it was just the MCU. People are gonna go see anything that it was part of the MCU. The DCU doesn't quite have that aura yet. They don't have the established track record. I think like Deadman would be another great example. Enterprising. These are all characters that are not well known enough to carry a movie by themselves. But Clayface, being, again, it's set in Gotham. We're probably gonna get some, cameo from some other Batman adjacent characters, so you're gonna have some crossover there. But it doesn't need, it also reduces the burden on the movie to, I don't know, like make $500 million. Like even $300 million would be huge. But with a budget of $40 odd million and whatever they spend on marketing, even if it does like 150, it's profitable. So that
Horror,
opens
man,
the door.
it's recession proof. That's the thing. I was literally just talking about this with my dad.
And you know what? Like it just
why
like
do
I
people
said,
keep
it
going to
opens
them?
the
It's just
door.
like, why do they keep making? Because they're fucking cheap. They're cheap. Like 40 million. That's like nothing. That's like nothing in this day and age. It's like right below a mid-budget, because mid-budget movies are like usually box office poison at this point. Even someone like
where's the audience? Right?
This was even before the pandemic. It was like mid-budget movies were really dying, kind of like how the middle class is like dead because it's either like hyper rich or starving. So it's like kind of like I know that's a horrible comparison, but I'm just saying mid things are like dead because it's just like mid-budget movies. I feel like none of them are just hitting, and it's just like
I think, look, for example, a great example on the Marvel side, right? Probably one of the best things that Marvel did in all of Phase 4 was Werewolf by Night. And I bet you that was one of those things that they spent the least amount of money on, but it was like Advertising was saying, it was cheap, but it was the most experimental and creative. And to this day, people want to see a sequel. Michael Giacchino seems to want to do one, even if it's just still another Disney presentation.
And the thing with that is like all of the special presentations did well. The holiday special did well. The Guardians holiday special did well. Werewolf by Night did well. I think there was one more, wasn't there?
Oh, like a special? I don't know if there was. Was there? I mean, I know they're working on the Punisher one. I don't know if there was another
That's what
one.
I'm saying. They're bringing back the Punisher because they
Yeah.
know they have a good thing here because it's like, boom, you knock this out in an hour and then you don't have to do anymore unless there's enough like push for it. Because like it's perfect because it's like I mean, people did TV specials all the time way back when. Like
I mean,
look at like the Charlie Brown, Garfield. I know that's much sillier, but like people did, or like Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Yeah, I know these are holiday specials, but hey, Werewolf by Night was very, you know, Halloween related, and the holiday special is a holiday special. So you know, it just makes sense that like I think it just like this opens the door for much more things. It's not as much as a TV movie. You go in, boom, an hour, maybe even just 45 minutes, and bam, you're out. And you can afford, as somebody said, I think it was cheap and usually the most experimental and creative. You, as you said, and Enterprise said, you can be creative. You can afford to be creative because then if it doesn't work, boom, you don't do that again. That's great. And you're not pouring in $400 million into an Eternals movie that bombs and it sucks and nobody likes it. So there's that, but then and it's not a mini series where it's like 8 hours of stuff or even 4 hours. It's boom, an hour, perfect. It's special presentations. I'm like shocked that this has not gone further. And it seems like, and especially if the Punisher one does well, and I think it will because it's being co-created by John Bernthal, so that's definitely a big thing there. And I think it was like $320,000. But that's the thing, like just push for that. And you know, I mean, look at the original Halloween, that was $300,000 as well. So
I mean, the first Saw movie was basically an indie film, but
fucking Blair Witch Project was like 15,000 or some ridiculous number, like there are 90,000. I forget, it was less than $100,000.
It was. Isn't that like known as like probably the most profitable movie of all time?
Yeah, it's the most profitable horror movie of all time. I'm pretty sure it's probably the most profitable film ever made. So if I were marketing,
I can't imagine any other movie. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing though. Even the Punisher, I don't know what the rights situation is with the Punisher being done as a movie, but I mean, if like you said, the special presentation does well for Marvel, I can see if they want to drop $35-40 million and make a Punisher movie that's theatrical with John Bernthal, I can see that movie making money. Now, of course, the character in the past was, you know, played by, was it Thomas Jane? Or was it
Thomas Jane, Ray Stevenson? And
Ray Stevenson, the late great Ray Stevenson. Yeah, and so I don't know what the thing is, if that's one of those Hulk situations where another studio has distribution rights. But I think for DC, certainly, Clayface could open the door. And this is one of those things where Peter Safran and James Gunn cut their teeth in Hollywood making those low-budget movies. Peter Safran has a huge, huge background.
Oh, you mean this James Gunn? Sorry, I was going through my feed and I found this and I really wanted to put it on the show. Somebody dressed up as James Gunn for Halloween and he responded. I think that's great.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Blair Witch is terrible, but it showed a lot. You know, it still did a lot for the time. So you know, and also this is really funny. I'm sorry, I just had to. I had to put that on screen.
No, it's perfect. I mean, it fits the theme of the show today. I was just gonna say though, to answer your question, Rico, I don't know if this movie doing well, if Clayface does well, that it automatically means, like that combined with Joker Part 1, that we need more villain-based movies. We have seen clearly, I think there's enough of a sample size now to know just because it's a movie based on a villain doesn't mean it's going to be a good movie or that you should make more of them. I think the same conventions apply. It needs to be a good movie with a good story, and the characters have to be memorable, they have to be likable or hateable, or you know, if it's a good, because the thing is, you can either play it as the bad guy, like the main character in the movie is a bad guy and that's what it is. You can play him as like a sympathetic, like, you know, villain or an anti-hero, or if you want to just make it so that it's like Loki who has a redemption arc. Like there's a few different ways you can go about it, like whether it's, you know, Venom, we've seen that. Joker, we have obviously seen that. Joker shoots the dude at the end of the first movie, sorry, spoiler alert. So clearly they weren't making him like the hero of the film, but he was the lead of the film. Clayface, I don't know what the story is ultimately going to end up being. We have the general, you know, idea of like what a Clayface story looks like in terms of an origin story. That seems to be what they're doing here. I just don't think it's an easy, like, straight, like, it's not a matter of like correlation equal to causation situation where they're like, oh yes, more villain-based movies because Clayface worked out well. I think if the Clayface movie does well, it's just going to be because it's a good movie with a good story and, you know, well fleshed out characters and good acting, and hopefully, you know, great character makeup, and maybe a lot of it will be SFX. Nowadays, even if you do SFX makeup that's, you know, in camera, it's enhanced with VFX in post-production. So yeah, I mean, and this is the thing about a movie like a Thunderbolts would have been a lot better if they hadn't spent like $200 million making it with marketing. Like if they spent $80 million making it, another $20-40 million marketing it, that movie would have been a lot more profitable, you know? So like, I think Marvel's approach has always been like, we're going to spend 120 minimum, $1 million. Even they're pulling back a little bit, but like 120 seems to be their low number, 125, something like that. I think DC is clearly like, look, we are operating with even more budget constraints, and we want to try to prove this out. The fact that they're taking this risk and only what's going to be second year of releasing DC movies in this new era of DC Studios, it speaks to the level of confidence they have in their ability to deliver something good. And so far, all the set photos that we have seen from Clayface look promising. We're only seeing bits and pieces of a movie that some of them might not even end up in the actual final cut. But the fact that Clayface is wrapped production is a good sign, because now we're one step closer to seeing it next year, and I can't wait for it. Like I keep saying, it might be low-key potentially the best superhero movie of 2026 in a year. Yeah, I did say Loki. In a year when Loki will be in Avengers Doomsday, but, you know, and Supergirl will be out there, and Spider-Man Brand New Day. Just the fact that Clayface, because this is the thing, I think the ceiling for this is really high, and that is encouraging to me. I just really hope that they market it well, because marketing, you know, budgets for this movie will probably not be as much as some of the other ones that will be coming out next year in the superhero genre. And they also really need to get the point across, because this is not a character where you can rely on prior knowledge from the general audience. You have to really explain what this is. But if they play up the horror aspect, like, you know, you get into a genre convention like this is body horror or something like that, you can easily make this work. But marketing budgets don't count in production budgets, by the way. Just letting you know, because yeah, studios have separate budgets for that. Yes, we did read the details of the Doomsday trailer. Didn't we talk about that on Friday? I feel like we did talk about that on Friday. That they're gonna go Universal Monster mode with Doctor Doom. We talked about that, yeah. But anyway, Clayface, it's done being shot, at least for now, until they do reshoots, if they do reshoots. But I can't wait to see what this becomes. It's gonna be out next September, September 11th. So
yep,
we'll go see it then. But let's keep on rolling here.
And now we
all right, what else have we got left? Oh, ooh, hello, Zack Snyder. Okay, and we have come to this part of the show, which is the part where John exits stage left. Henry Cavill, of course, returns as Superman in Zack Snyder's newest photo, one of his two newest photos. I did actually do some research on this over the weekend. I went on Zack Snyder's Instagram, I followed him, and then I looked through his feed, and he's been posting photos from a lot of his recent projects, like Tig Notaro from Army of the Dead. He posted some stuff from, what was those really terrible movies he did for Netflix recently?
Army of the Dead?
No, the other ones, his Star Wars. I'm forgetting.
Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon. So, he's also been posting a bunch of these photos that he has taken over the years. For admittedly a number of years he worked in the DC universe, and of course all the DCEU stuff. John, if you want to scroll down here, we have a look at the photo. It looks like a piece of film that he's showcasing here with Henry Cavill as the Man of Steel. It looks like IMAX film. I mean, is that looks like
I think
35
so.
millimeter maybe.
It looks like it.
Yeah. Yeah, look, ultimately, I think we've talked about this. He's doing it because he loves reminiscing over old work. He's not really doing that. I don't think he's...
I mean, I think there is some instigation there, but
campaigning for a return.
You know.
It's more the captions than the photos themselves. If you go down a little bit and then see what he actually said. Henry in his natural
setting. All right.
It's like the way I look at them, the way I choose to look at these is he's just saying, oh, look, this is a photo and this is a work of art, and that's my name for the work of art, you know? Like a lot of painters would do back, and now they do back in the day. They just give a name to, like, and the name could be a phrase, a sentence, the feeling that they get from that it's meant to evoke from the work of art. That's how Zack Snyder looks at some of these photography pieces, and that's what he's sharing. You know what? I don't blame him for admiring his own work. A lot of people, you know, who are creatives, you know, have an adverse relationship with their own work because they're so particular. So it's I think from a psychological standpoint, it's, to me at least, it indicates, you know, I mean, obviously a healthy sense of ego, but at the same time, if you don't love what you do, then you're not gonna have fun at it. And clearly Zack Snyder had a lot of fun working in the DCEU, obviously, until things, you know, went sour and awry. But he, at least now, he's gone to a point in his life where he's able to look back on you know, on this time fondly, which is good. But that wasn't the only one, John. This next photo, that one I was like, I don't know if that's necessarily something that we should be looking back on so fondly. But John, do you prefer Jared Leto? Because it looks like Zack Snyder might. 50mm Dream lens Leica monochrome, showcasing Jared Leto wearing a Gotham Police SWAT vest with a machine gun. There you go. Honka, honka, honka. John, your thoughts on this one?
Stupid. He's
You live in a
hashtag
world.
damage, and I hashtag hate it.
Well, we live in a world where Jared Leto's Joker, honestly, I'll be honest with you, I felt like while the Snyder Cut was 40 minutes too long, and it was overall a good movie, the one scene, one of several, that they should never have included in it was all the jibber jabber between Batman and the Joker in this nightmare future. Because the fire,
just
between
like
my
it
loins,
feels pointless. Some of the
it was the
effects
most
are
comic
really
book
bad.
stupidity. Well, it is, because they didn't have any budget left, because they already spent all that money like doing the CGI for Steppenwolf that they hadn't done until the Snyder Cut was actually being made, because they never adapted that stuff. Not to mention like a ton of other scenes, because there's a lot of compositing work that would have to have happened in there. They obviously had to bring in the footage of Henry Cavill without a mustache and actually treat it and all those things. But honestly, that scene between Joker and Ben Affleck's Batman towards the end of the movie, one of those post-credit sequences where they're having this back and forth, that felt like watching a fan film, which has terribly written dialogue that feels like it's meant to be pulled straight from the panels of a comic book.
But I saw so
and the
many people
VFX
like,
just,
this is
like you
the
said,
Joker we should have
I was
gotten.
like,
and I'm
no.
like, are you fucking high? Like, what?
It's
like I was just watching this, like, you gotta send a boy to do a man's job. Come on, reach around. It's like, what? Jack Nicholson is rolling in his grave and he's not even dead yet.
Yeah. Look, I think there's a lot of redeeming qualities in the Snyder Cut in general. I just don't think that was necessary. Like,
I mean,
that
it's
part
the
was
best
like, that's the
Snyder
part where it makes you
DCU
wonder.
movie, but that's not saying much.
Well, I personally think that's Man of Steel, but point taken.
It gets better, but like,
I think of all the that was clearly put in there because Zack Snyder wanted to do more. And he was like, this is going to get the fans talking. I'm surprised Warner Brothers let it go through. But then again, I guess they were like, you know, let him do his thing this time. Might as well give him a carte blanche, at least somewhat of a carte blanche, because they didn't let him use. Yeah, Kate Blanchett with the budget. Except they didn't truly, because they didn't let him use Green Lantern. And now 10 years later, we're finally getting a Green Lantern show. But anyway, I just didn't think that was a necessary part of it. And that was definitely Zack Snyder instigating the fan base to be like, I've got more ideas. Remember they did that whole exhibit of Justice League 2 and 3? So yeah, I do think that actually Ayer's Joker was better, because the version of the Joker that Jared Leto did, a lot of which was cut from the Ayer cut, or I guess from the Suicide Squad. Maybe we'll eventually get the Ayer cut. I think there was probably more to it there, because Zack Snyder just took that and gave him long hair and a bunch of crappy dialogue that wasn't necessary. So yeah, I genuinely think, like, if there's any part of me that wants to wonder if Zack Snyder's still stoking the flames of, let's get this, you know, DCEU nightmare storyline back on track is posting a photo like that of Jared Leto, not of Henry Cavill, not of Ben Affleck. That stuff, I mean, or even Deathstroke, Joe Manganiello. I think that stuff is like, yeah, he admires that stuff. Some of that nightmare stuff was just completely unnecessary. It felt like bad fan fiction, like you said, John, like Caleb was saying. Exactly. But hey, you know what? Maybe Zack Snyder is just looking back on good old times, because it was one of the few times that he got to work on a studio property without any studio interference. And that's rare, I guess. So, but you know what? James Gunn doesn't have to worry about that, because James Gunn is the studio. And speaking of which, John, I believe we have come to that part of the show where, we are not only blessed from the beginning, but also at the end. Remember, Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. We're here 5 days a week, hopefully back to being 5 days a week. Hit the like button and hit the notification bell if you are new here. That way you know when we go live. We're often here live late into the night. Today was a damn 3+ hour long show. We usually try to go a lot less than that. But tomorrow we're going to be talking about more DC, more Marvel, more stuff from the world of Hollywood. But after DCU Daily, of course, join us for Tier List Tuesday. The poll is up in the YouTube community post section. Currently, it looks like the topic for Warner Brothers Discovery suitors, aka the studios that want to buy Warner Brothers, that's who we'll be tier listing based on who we think are the best picks. But yeah, bye-bye. I hope you love them. Yes, we saved a lot of those Man of Steel
here
jokes.
We are.
We saved them. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you are. Stay safe, stay curious, go watch a movie, come back and talk to us about it tomorrow. Until then, John, what are we from the beginning?
Blessed. Hashtag blessed, not hashtag damaged. Are you clicking on it or am I? I don't know who's clicking on it.
No, I mean, and on that note, it's time to end the show.
Bye.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chorus.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka!
And fuck Jeff Snyder.